Good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes. Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to California Citizens Redistricting Commission Communities of Interest Input Meeting. I am Pedro Toledo, and I will be co-chairing today's meeting with Commissioner Yi. Today, we are offering 4 language lines in the following languages: Spanish, Mandarin, Cantonese, and Russian. So language speakers can listen to the meeting in their native language. Could I please have our interpreters provide our call-in numbers? Can I have the Spanish interpreter read the Spanish language line instructions?
Hi, Chair. This is the Spanish interpreter. Aquellos que deseen escuchar la reunión en español, llamen al 888-566-1377 e ingresen el número de la reunión 389-1010. De nuevo, ese número es 888-566-1377 e ingresen el número de la reunión 389-1010. Para los hispanohablantes que deseen escuchar la reunión en español. Gracias. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Can I have the Mandarin interpreter read the Mandarin language line instructions? Can we come back to the Mandarin line in a second? Cantonese. Can I have the Cantonese interpreter read the Cantonese language line instructions?
Yes, thank you. 廣東話嘅聽眾請致電800-988-9658收聽會議廣東話翻譯，並且輸入 ID 號碼377-6377。重複，廣東話嘅聽眾請致電800-988-9658收聽會議廣東話翻譯，並且輸入 ID 號碼377-6377。Back to you, moderator.
Thank you. Can I have the Russian interpreter read the Russian language line instructions? I think there might be some connectivity issues, so we'll try the Mandarin. Can I have the Mandarin interpreter read the Mandarin language
Chair,
line? Yes.
The interpreter was muted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There she is. She's unmuted.
Let me start again.
Okay, thank you.
Русскоговорящий, пожалуйста, еще раз. Позвоните по номеру 800-619-4436 для того, чтобы выслушивать заседание на русском языке. И внесите номер заседания 1191472. Еще раз. Позвоните по номеру 800-619-4436 и после этого введите номер заседания 1191472 для тех, кто выслушивает на русском языке. Если вы хотите внести свои собственные предложения, позвоните по номеру 877-853-5247. Опять-таки, еще раз, этот номер 877-853-5247. После этого вам нужно ввести следующие номера 879-1920-3919 для того, чтобы указать, что вы хотите сделать заявление. Нажмите звездочка 9. После этого вам нужно будет набрать новый номер телефона для того, чтобы внести свое заявление. Если вы будете пользоваться услугами переводчика для того, чтобы внести свое заявление, то тогда вам предоставят переводчика. и дадут соответствующий номер телефона. Если вы звоните, чтобы выступить, пожалуйста, не вешайте трубку, потому что иначе вы потеряете свое место в очереди. Back to you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And let's go to Mandarin. Can I have the Mandarin interpreter read the Mandarin language line?
The Mandarin interpreter could please unmute in Zoom.
国语听众请打888-455-5950以收听本会议，并输入会议 ID 5461715。重复一次，国语听众请打888-455-5950来收听本会议，并输入会议 ID 号码是5461715。Back to you, moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you to all of our interpreters. Now we will go to Ravi for roll call.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner Turner? Commissioner Vasquez?
好，我们现在是委员 Turner， 委员 Vasquez。
Commissioner Yi?
I Nido, I'm here.
Commissioner Ahmad?
Here.
Commissioner Akutagawa? Commissioner Anderson?
Here.
Commissioner Fernandez?
Presente.
Commissioner Foranshari? Commissioner Kennedy?
Here.
Commissioner Lamont? Commissioner Sadwani?
Here.
Commissioner Sanai?
Aquí.
Commissioner Taylor?
Present.
And Commissioner Toledo?
Present.
Roll call is complete, Chair.
Thank you so much, Ravi. I will start by sharing about the commission. Every 10 years after the federal government publishes updated census information, California must redraw the boundaries of its congressional, state Senate, state assembly, and state board of equalization districts so that the districts correctly reflect the state's population. In 2008, California's voters authorized the creation of the commission when they passed the Voters First Act. It authorized the commission to draw the new district lines for the state Senate, state assembly, and state board of equalization districts. In 2010, the Congressional Voters First Act added the responsibility of drawing congressional districts to the commission. The 14-member commission is made up of 5 Republicans, 5 Democrats, and 4 not affiliated with either of those parties. The commission must draw the lines in conformity with strict, nonpartisan rules designed to create districts of relatively equal proportion that will provide fair representation for all Californians. Recently, the census redistricting data was released. When the official California redistricting database is available in late September, the commission will begin drawing maps using 6 line drawing criteria as outlined in the California Constitution. One of these is minimizing the division of cities, counties, neighborhoods, and communities of interest to the extent possible. We can obtain the city and county information from those jurisdictions, but we need the neighborhood and communities of interest information from Californians directly. That's why we have launched these communities of interest input sessions to get that valuable information from you directly. We encourage all Californians to participate in this process. If you would rather submit community of interest input over the internet, you can do so from our website or by visiting drawmycacommunity.org. Skip the line and go online. Now I will call on all commissioners to introduce themselves and to say hello. To see the biographies for all 14 commissioners, or for additional information or to sign up for our emails, please visit our website at wedrawthelinesca.org. We will begin with my co-chair, Commissioner Yee.
Thank you, Commissioner Toledo. Greetings, California. Greetings, Bay Area. I am Commissioner Russell Yee here in my hometown of Oakland. My grandparents arrived from southern China here a century ago, and so Mahai, ABC, American-born Chinese. And I somehow didn't actually learn much more Cantonese than that growing up. But glad to be here with you. There is traditionally considered 9 counties and about 100 cities and towns. Yesterday, we for testimony from Sonoma and Napa and the Northern Coast. So today we're focusing on the other 7 Bay Area counties, as well as anyone else in California who wants to give us input.
Thank you, Commissioner Yee. Commissioner Ahmed.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bay. Commissioner Yee, we also have a term. I'm an ABCD, American-born confused Daisy. So I'm really excited to hear more from the communities out here in the Bay Area and look forward to a great meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Ahmed. Commissioner Linda Kutagawa. Commissioner Jane Anderson.
Good afternoon, Bay Area. I'm Jane Anderson. I'm coming to you from Berkeley, California. So I can't wait to hear all about my fellow Bay Area communities and which ones I really need to go and visit to see them a little more closely. I'm looking forward to hearing everyone who's coming in to speak to us today. Thank you.
Commissioner Alicia Fernandez.
Buenas tardes, California. Soy Alicia Fernández del Condado de Yolo, al este. Gracias por participar en nuestra junta. Con su ayuda, cada vez aprendo más sobre California y sus comunidades. Good afternoon, California. I'm Alicia Fernandez from Yolo County to the east. Thank you for participating in all our meetings. And with your help, each time I learn more about California and your communities, and I look forward to hearing more. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Neil Fornashari. Commissioner Ray Kennedy.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, California. I'm joining the meeting today from my home in Morongo Valley. Morongo Valley is a rural Joshua Tree Gateway community in southern San Bernardino County's desert, high desert, mid-desert. I'm looking forward to hearing about your communities and what makes your community special to you. Thank you again.
Thank you. Commissioner Antonio Lemons. Commissioner Sarah Sadwani.
Good afternoon, California. Thanks so much for being here. My name is Sarah Sadwani. I'm calling in today from my home in Los Angeles County in La Cañada. It's 3 o'clock, so kids are home from school. Please excuse me if we have little guests in the background.
Thank you, Commissioner Sadwani. Commissioner Patricia Sinai.
Gracias. Soy Patricia Sinai y vivo en San Diego. Es un placer estar con ustedes hoy día. I'm Patricia Sinai. I'm serving you from San Diego. It's a pleasure to be with you today. The Bay Area was home, and I still consider it one of my professional homes. I lived in Haight-Ashbury and worked in San Mateo, so I'm excited to hear from all of you.
Thank you. Commissioner Derek Taylor.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Derek Taylor, joining you today from the unincorporated city of Altadena at the base of the San Gabriel Mountains, or the Verdugo Mountains, as some people describe it. I'm looking forward to everyone's testimony, and keep it coming. Look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Trina Turner. Commissioner Angela Vasquez. And I am Commissioner Pedro Toledo. I am originally from Alameda, California. I was born in Berkeley, raised in the city of Alameda, went to school in the South Bay, and now living in Sonoma County, where I'm at today in Petaluma, California. And I'm looking forward to hearing all about your communities of interest. With that, I just want to share that we are active on social media. So please follow us at the California Citizens Redistricting Commission. And you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. Our handle is We Draw the Lines CA. And of course, you can follow us on social media. And another way to get it's a great way to get information about the commission, about our redistricting process, and updates about what we're doing. And before we continue, could I please have the interpreters provide our language line numbers one more time? Can I start with the Spanish interpreter?
Hi, Chair. This is the interpreter. Aquellos que deseen escuchar la reunión en español, llamen al 888-566-1377 e ingresen el número de la reunión 389-1010. De nuevo, ese número es 888-566-1377 e ingresen el número de la reunión 389-1010 para los hispanohablantes que deseen escuchar la reunión en español. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have the Mandarin interpreter read the Mandarin language line instructions? We'll come back to Mandarin. Can I have the Cantonese interpreter read the Cantonese language line instructions?
Yes, I'm going to give instructions in Cantonese. 各位聽廣東話嘅聽眾，請打電話800-988-9658，輸入個 ID 號碼係377-6377。再重複電話號碼係800-988-9658，輸入嘅密碼係377-6377。Thank you. Commissioner Toledo.
Thank you very much. Can I have the Russian interpreter read the Russian language line?
Yes, Commissioner. Пожалуйста, инструкции для языковой линии на русском языке. Те, кто слушают на русском языке, пожалуйста, позвоните по номеру 800-619-4436 для того, чтобы выслушивать это заседание на русском языке. И введите номер заседания 1191472. Еще раз. Этот номер 800-619-4436. И после этого номер заседания 1191472 для русскоговорящих. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. At this time, can we have the Mandarin interpreter read the Mandarin language line instructions?
Yes, Chair. 国语听众请打888-455-5950来收听本会议，并输入会议的 ID 是546-1715。重复一次，国语听众请打888-455-5950收听本会议，并输入会议的 ID 是546-1715。Yes, Chair.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. With that, I'll start with some housekeeping rules and housekeeping information. This meeting is primarily for communities of interest testimony focused on Alameda, Contra Costa, Marin, Sonoma San Francisco, San Mateo, Santa Clara, Solano counties and surrounding areas. Again, it's Alameda, Contra Costa, Marin, San Francisco, San Mateo, Santa Clara, Solano counties and surrounding areas. However, anyone in California can call in to provide input. General public comment will take place at the end of the meeting. Although the Commission has divided up California into 11 zones, that in no way is related to or reflective of redistricting lines or boundaries. The Commission created the zones to assist commissioners and staff in our outreach efforts, not as an indication of planned boundaries. Today, we are joined by our line drawing team, Haystack DNA, Q2 Data and Research, who will be displaying a map of the area that attendees describe. Please start with the area you would like to discuss and be as specific as possible about the boundaries of where your community is located. It is our goal to find the area on the map that you would like to describe and discuss prior to your testimony. If you are within a specific neighborhood of a large city, please mention it by name. Once we are able to locate your area, your timer will begin. Attendees will not be able to share their screen. We are also joined by Spanish, Mandarin, Cantonese, and Russian interpreters, and Katie, our phenomenal comment moderator, who will be introducing attendees when it is their turn to speak. When you join the meeting, please use the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen to enter the queue. If you have registered for a time slot, we encourage you to call in during your appointment time slot. When it is your turn to speak, Katie, our comment moderator, will be identifying you by your assigned unique ID number. You will be reconnected to the session with the ability to enable your own video and/or audio. Registration is not required to participate in this public input meeting. The public has the option of calling in during the meeting to get into the queue to speak. If you do not have an appointment and wish to call in to provide public input, the number is 877-853-5247. Again, the number to provide public input is 877-853-5247. You will need to enter the meeting ID number, and that is 879-1920-3919. Again, the meeting ID number is 879-1920-3919. This call-in information and access code is also listed on our live stream. You will need to dial this number in order to give public input. Today, there will be Spanish, Mandarin, Cantonese, Russian interpreters throughout, and a Tagalog interpreter during session 2, available to interpret non-English input at this call-in number. The comment moderators will assist you with your speaker number before you begin speaking, and please make a note of this number for future reference. You will be able to use this number to identify your community of interest testimony on our website at a future date. The Commission will be enforcing a 3-minute time limit for English speakers and a 6-minute time limit for those who need interpretation. There will be a warning at 30 seconds and at 15 seconds remaining. At the beginning of your input, you will see a map on the screen. Please remind the mapper what area you would like to see on the screen and be as specific as possible about the boundaries of where you will be, where your community is located. If at the conclusion of the meeting, there is still a need to allow for members of the public in the queue to speak, we will continue this community of interest input meeting at a new date and time, and we'll attempt to schedule the remaining members of the public to speak for the allotted 3 minutes. Please monitor the website as we expect to post a continuation of this agenda within 24 hours. While there is no clear rules on how to define a community of interest, we've identified ways for you to describe your community. Begin with your county or city. Mention the street names and specific or significant locations in your neighborhood to help us identify the parameters of your community. What are your shared interests? What brings you together? What is important to your community? Are there nearby areas you want to be in your district? Are there nearby areas you don't want to be in a district with? Why or why not? Has your community come together to advocate for important services, such as better schools, roads, or health centers in your neighborhood? Also, we invite you to use the Community of Interest tool to draw a map and describe your community by visiting drawmycacommunity.org. This website is available in 16 languages. Skip the line and go online. Submit your community of interest input today, and please encourage at least 3 other people to do the same. As a reminder, even though we are focusing on specific counties today, anyone from California is welcome to provide input. We will now begin the public input sessions, and we'll start with people who are registered and then open the lines if there is time before the next session. If you are calling without an appointment, please do not hang up, as you will lose your place in line. I will pass this over to Katie, our comment moderator.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome to the public input session. Please use the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen to enter the queue. When it is your turn to speak, I will identify you by your assigned unique ID number from your invite. You will be reconnected to the session with the ability to enable your own video or audio. You will then be assigned a speaker order number before you begin speaking. Please make a note of your speaker order number for future reference. The Commission will be enforcing a 3-minute time limit for English speakers and 6-minute time limit for those with an interpreter. There will be a warning at 30 seconds and 15 seconds remaining. It is the Commission's goal to find the area on the map you would like to discuss prior to your testimony. If you are within a specific neighborhood of a large city, please mention it by name. Once we are able to locate your area, your 3-minute or 6-minute testimony will begin. Attendees will not be able to share their screen. At the end of your public input or at the end of your time, you will be reconnected in a listen and view only mode. At the beginning of your input, please remind the mapper of what area you would like to see on the screen. And I would like to again invite those with appointments to use the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen. This is for 001, 002, 004, 006, and 013. If you could all please use the raise your hand button at the bottom of your screen to get in line for the comment queue line. At this time, we will have a 005, and then up next will be 012. 005, I will be promoting you now. 005, your speaker order number will be number 1. If you will please make note of that for future reference. You can now enable your audio and video in the lower left corner of your screen. If you will please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Area Essa neighborhood in North San Jose.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Hello, my name is Richard Konda. I'm the executive director of the Asian Law Alliance located in San Jose, California. I'm calling in today to provide input on the Berryessa neighborhood in North San Jose and to provide an introduction to the AAPI and Amensa State Redistricting Collaborative. Over the past few months, the Asian Law Alliance has worked as a regional anchor partner with the AAPI and Amensa State Redistricting Collaborative in the South Bay. The testimony of my colleagues that I have prepared for you today is a reflection of our coalition's engagement with our communities, collecting feedback from multiple stakeholders to map South Bay COIs. This past summer, our state collaborative held 5 community workshops reaching 17 different community-based organizations and over 40 community members and staff. Across these workshops, we've mapped multiple COIs that captured the diversity of the API and Amensa community in the South Bay while providing education on the ways to engage with the state redistricting process. Outside these meetings, members have also engaged in direct outreach to religious leaders, business owners, students, and families. We hope our collaborative work helps the Commission better understand the diverse AAPI and Amensa communities in the South Bay. With the most recent data released from the 2020 census, we now know that Asian Americans make up 38.9% of Santa Clara County, making us the largest and fastest growing racial group in the region. Both the Berryessa area in North San Jose and Milpitas have large Chinese and South Asian populations, and which share many similarities with Asian American communities in Santa Clara and Fremont, including languages spoken and poverty rates. The core of Berryessa runs from the 880 freeway and up past 680 to the hills from Berryessa Road to the south, extending north to Calaveras. My colleague Gabriel Gupta will be able to speak more about these COIs in detail. As you may know, in 2001, prior to the creation of Independent Redistricting Commission, the Berryessa neighborhood was split into 4 assembly districts. This prevented Berryessa residents from having a strong voice at the state level for the next 10 years. Last redistricting cycle, the Asian Law Alliance worked to uplift the needs of Berryessa, successfully advocating for its reunification in 2011. Today, I am urging the Commission to keep the Berryessa neighborhood whole with the areas of Santa Clara and Fremont. It is important that we are drawn together to continually to amplify the voice of Asian Americans across North Santa Clara County. Thank you so much for hearing from me today and the rest of the AAPI and Amensa State Redistricting Collaborative. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you so much. Right now we will have 012, and then up next will be caller 9445, unique ID number 009. But right now is 012. I will be promoting you. Your speaker order number is number 2. If you'll please make note of that for future reference. You can now enable your audio and video in the lower left corner of your screen. If you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Yes, I would like to speak about the city of Sunnyvale in Santa Clara County.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Sunnyvale Mayor Larry Klein, and I want to first thank the redistricting commissioners for their hard work in performing this very important task for the state. On behalf of the residents of the city of Sunnyvale, I wanted to speak to you concerning, our communities of interests, and we have quite a few in our city. Sunnyvale is the 7th largest city in the Bay Area and the 2nd largest city in Santa Clara County. Sunnyvale is a very diverse city with more than 50% of our residents being born outside of the United States. And we celebrate that diversity of our city, and that diversity actually makes us a better community overall. And we're especially mindful of our city's place in the 17th Congressional District, which is the only minority-majority congressional district in the continental United States. Sunnyvale residents share very close professional, cultural, and personal connections to the other cities within the 17th district. Recently our council voted unanimously to advocate to remain in the 17th congressional district. And that is mainly because to maintain those AAPI voices, which is one of the strongest communities of interest across that district. We urge, the commissioners to keep Sunnyvale in one congressional district, and similarly in one state assembly district and one state senate district, as opposed to conceivably splitting up our city. It's really important that you do not dilute the voting power of our Asian American and Pacific Islander majority. And we ask that you group Sunnyvale residents with communities that share our regional concerns. Sunnyvale's communities of interest are similar to other cities in Silicon Valley, such as Fremont, Cupertino, Milpitas, San Jose, Santa Clara, Mountain View, with which Sunnyvale shares a lot of similar regional concerns, economic interests, living standards, transportation facilities, and work opportunities, of course. It's critical to make sure that it's a very diversity, but that AAPI influence and those voices are heard both within our city and making sure that they're heard within our congressional districts and state districts as well. So on behalf of the Sunnyvale City Council and my city's residents, I want to thank you for your consideration and your service to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you so much. Right now we will have caller 9445, unique ID 009, and then up next will be 007. Caller 9445, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time and press star 6. Perfect. Caller 9445, your speaker order number will be number 3. If you will please make note of that for future reference. And if you will please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Yes, Santa Clara County, please.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, my name is Jagraj Singh, and I'm the president of Santa Clara Sikh University's Sikh Student Association, and I'm speaking with the Jakarta movement. I would like to provide input on the Punjabi Sikh community of interest located in Santa Clara County. I'm also calling in as a member of the AAPI and MMSA Redistricting Collaborative. Our organization works with primarily the Punjabi community in the Bay Area and throughout California. We have been active in the community for over 20 years, organizing and empowering Punjabi Sikh and other marginalized communities to advance their health, education, and economic and social political power. I'm born and raised in Sunnyvale, California, and attended Homestead High School here, and I've remained fairly local because I'm going to Santa Clara University. My community primarily lives in the San Jose area, specifically Berryessa, Evergreen, and Silver Creek neighborhoods. An important landmark is the San Jose Gurdwara, which is in the Evergreen area. In addition, our community lives in Santa Clara District 1, 2, and 3, and surrounds the surrounding Silicon Valley area. So Punjabi is our ethnic background, whereas Sikh is our religious identity. Our community has many educated folks working in the corporate field, but we also have many immigrants. And so that has led us to also having a lowest proficiency in English out of all the other South Asian groups here in the Bay Area. And so that means we need language and more transportation, affordability resources, and around 67% of Punjabi Sikh youth meet racism and prejudice in their schools. And they've had a lot of hate against them. And personally, I've experienced this too. Today, I'm calling for the Commission to respect the integrity of the Punjabi community and primarily the Berryessa, Santa Clara, and Southern San Jose areas. I thank you for your service, and I'm just hoping for the community to gain more representation. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you so much. Right now we will have 007, and then up next will be 002. 007, I will be promoting you now. .007, your speaker order number will be number 4. If you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'd like to discuss southeastern Alameda County and southwestern Contra Costa County.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is John Sensiba, and I'm calling from Pleasanton in the East Bay area, in the heart of what is identified as the Tri-Valley. I've lived here for 28 years. It's important to keep the Tri-Valley together as a whole for legislative and policy representation. Combining us with similar communities to the east would also make sense as necessary. The Tri-Valley is 5 main cities in Alameda and Contra Costa that are collectively referred to as the Tri-Valley: Livermore, Pleasanton, Dublin, San Ramon, Danville, and the unincorporated areas that are closely aligned with them: Alamo, Black Hawk, Diablo, Tassajara Valley, and Sunol. These are suburban and semi-rural cities with people who work in the Tri-Valley or the same 2 or 3 major population centers in the inner Bay Area, who socialize, shop, and work together as a broader community. Each of these communities has unique features and characteristics, but they are closely intertwined and interconnected and widely known as comprising the Tri-Valley. Government collaboration and coordination is extensive. Tri-Valley local governments collaborate significantly in policy setting locally and in advocacy at other levels of government. Examples like the city government leaders meet regularly, hold an annual mayor's summit, and work as a team on major policy issues like housing, transportation, land use, water use, parks, and school boards. Many special districts overlap both counties within the Tri-Valley. Alamo is a part of the Tri-Valley transportation planning and connected by Iron Horse Trail and 680 that connects the greater Tri-Valley. Wheels and the County Connection, as well as the Livermore-Amador Valley Transit Authority, also serve the entire Tri-Valley. Our chambers of commerce and broader business communities also collaborate. They collaborate on advocacy and often have members who are involved in other chambers within the Tri-Valley. Our nonprofit community also works together within the Tri-Valley, and you can see it in the names: Innovation Tri-Valley Leadership Group, the Tri-Valley Nonprofit Alliance, the Tri-Valley Conservancy, Tri-Valley Haven, and the very recently formed Three Valleys Community Foundation, among many others. In sum, all this connectivity within the Tri-Valley is because of the shared interests, common goals, intertwined economies and cultures, and it is critical that we be seen as one community and not split up. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Right now we will have 002, and then up next will be 001. 002, I will be promoting you now. Your speaker order number will be number 5, if you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the member know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'll be discussing Fremont and Santa Clara, the city of Santa Clara, starting with the Irvington neighborhood of Fremont. All right, I can go ahead and start then. So hi, my name is Eliza Cosme, and I'm the Advocacy Manager at the Council on American Islamic Relations San Francisco Bay Area chapter, and our organization is a regional lead organization for the AAPI and AMEMSA Redistricting Collaborative. I will be speaking about some of the Muslim communities in Fremont as well as Santa Clara, and I speak from our perspective as a civil rights, legal aid, and civic engagement organization that is based in Santa Clara and serves the Bay Area's region's 250,000 plus Muslims, including recently arrived and other immigrants from around the world. Working with different community leaders, we see that Muslims in our region are highly and increasingly civically engaged on a range of issues, including fighting for basic economic opportunities for immigrants and refugees, and accountability and change in the various ways that AMEMSA and BIPOC people are over-policed and surveilled. Because of our diversity socioeconomically in terms of citizenship status and across ethnic identities, our 100 plus mosques are one key space that characterize our community. Over the past 15 years alone, at least 10 new mosques have been formed in the Bay Area, and the location of mosques also impacts where Muslims who move to the Bay Area rent and own homes. I would like to highlight that in Fremont, there are many Muslims living around the Islamic Center of Fremont on Irvington Avenue. Over 200 families, including many Indians and Pakistanis, live in the Irvington neighborhood, which is also home to a number of highly frequented Muslim-owned businesses. There are also many Muslims, especially Afghans, residing near Washington Street, up the street from the Khalilullah Ibrahim Islamic Center on Osgood Road. Another area of Fremont with a strong Muslim, especially Afghan, residential and small business presence is the Centerville neighborhood, also known as Little Kabul. This area is also where Afghan Coalition, one of our partners, and a direct service social agency is located. And I believe that they're the largest Afghan social service agency in the country. And then in Santa Clara, there's also a significant density of Muslims, especially around the original location of the Muslim Community Association, which is Masjid al-Nur on Catherine Street, just south of El Camino Real. While many of its congregants exclusively attend Masjid al-Nur, many also attend the sister location, the Muslim Community Association, on Scott Boulevard, just south of Highway 101 and east of the San Tomas Expressway. So we ask that the Commission please keep the two concentrations of Muslims that I've described in Central and South Fremont and in Santa Clara together as much as possible, given these communities' shared characteristics of ethnic and linguistic backgrounds as Arab, Middle Eastern, African and Central and South Asian, people who also share various social and political interests. Thank you.
Quick question for the speaker.
Just a moment, Chair. Unique ID 002. If you could please unmute, the chair had a couple extra questions for you.
Sure.
Just a little bit of additional information for our line drawers. Can you describe the Irvington boundaries?
Yes, so I was just describing the neighborhood of Irvington, and I will be sure to. I'm going to be sure to also follow up with written testimony to the Commission email, and I can define that in there as well. But I can just give you a quick overview here. So the western boundary of Irvington is Grimmer Boulevard. And then the southern is Blackow Road. And the northern is Paseo Padre. So basically, if you start at Paseo Padre Parkway and Grimmer Boulevard, that's the northwest corner of Irvington.
Great, that's very helpful, and thank you so much. And we look forward to getting your written comments as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right now, we will have 001, and then up next will be 004. 001, I'll be promoting you now. Your speaker order number will be number 6, if you'll please make note of that for future reference. You can now enable your audio and video in the lower left corner of your screen. If you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Hi, I will be discussing the Barry Essa area in North San Jose.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Gabriela Garzon Gupta, and I am with the Asian Law Alliance. I will be addressing the area that contains Assembly District 25, particularly the Barry Essa area of San Jose in the southern part of Santa Clara County. The Asian Law Alliance is a nonprofit based in San Jose that provides legal services in Santa Clara County with a particular focus on our AAPI and low-income populations. I'm speaking today in conjunction with the AAPI and the MEMSA Redistricting Collaborative. I'm here today to talk specifically about the Chinese community in the Barry Essa area of North San Jose. Barry Essa can also be defined through the zip codes 95131, 95132, and part of 95133. Barry Essa is especially notable for its high concentration of the AAPI population. Over 60% of the population identifies as AAPI. Over half of Barry Essa residents work in white-collar jobs and commute using the highways of 680 and 101 to get to those tech-related jobs. Barry Essa also has its own school district that serves 13 elementary and middle schools. There's a strong community of Chinese immigrants and US-born residents with Chinese heritage. Approximately 14% of the population in 95132 and 20% of 95131 are Chinese immigrants, while surrounding zip codes have percentages that hover at around 2 to 8%. With a high concentration of Chinese immigrants, the neighborhood resources and schools reflect this demographic. There are 3 Chinese language schools in the Milpitas and Barry Essa area, and Barry Essa Union School District also serves a much higher percentage of ESL students who speak either Mandarin or Cantonese than the neighboring Alamoc School District. There is also a very strong religious Chinese community. Berryessa and Milpitas have 7 temples and churches for the Chinese community specifically. Please keep the Berryessa community intact and keep this community with cities like Fremont and Milpitas. The Chinese community in Berryessa has much more in common with its neighbors up to the north, like Fremont and Milpitas, than it does with its neighbors to the southeast, like the Alum Rock and the other east side San Jose neighborhoods. The Chinese communities in Milpitas and Fremont have similarities when it comes to home ownership rates, poverty rates, languages spoken, and types of jobs. Thank you for hearing my input today.
Thank you. And I have a quick question.
Just a moment, Chair. Unique ID 001. If you could please unmute, the chair had some questions for you.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for your comments. Can you elaborate on the boundaries for the Berryessa community? Specifically, what you can just, if there are street boundaries or any other boundaries that you'd like to give us?
I think my colleague already mentioned this 880 freeway and the 680 up to the hills and Berryessa Road in the south and Calaveras Boulevard, which is kind of near Milpitas.
That's helpful. Thank you very much.
Yes, and then just another thing to note too is it is different from the Alum Rock neighborhood, which is pretty close. So you see that East Foothills and that Alum Rock. That's where I would differentiate it as well.
Are you suggesting that the Allen Rock is not part of the Berryessa community?
No, we don't really consider it as part of the Berryessa community.
Okay. And that's not part of your community of interest?
No, not in my testimony today, and not as most people would consider it. Berryessa is distinct from the East Foothills and the Alum Rock area.
Appreciate that. Thank you for the specificity.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right now will be 004, and then up next will be 006. And I'd like to invite those that have called in today to please press star 9 on their telephone keypad to get in the comment queue line, as I will be going to callers here shortly. 004, I will be promoting you now. .004, your speaker order number will be number 7. If you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Hi, good afternoon. I'd like to discuss the Berryessa neighborhood as well in San Jose.
Go ahead.
Awesome. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Angelica Cortez, and I'm calling as a representative of Lead Filipino. We're a local nonprofit organization based in San Jose and in the South Bay area. And we're focused on advancing civic participation and civil rights within Filipina X and O, American and broader communities. And in the 6 years that we have been active, we've spearheaded a coalition of hundreds of organizations and have helped thousands of Philams in leadership, education, and advocacy. We're calling in as a member of the AAPI and AMEMSA State Redistricting Collaborative. So our community members are concentrated in 2 main areas in San Jose. The first includes downtown Berryessa and North San Jose, which we also call Milpitas in different contexts. So the boundaries for this concentration are captured within the 680 and 880 corridors, starting with East Santa Clara Street. We're very technical here. In the south and extending to West Calaveras Boulevard in the north, and East Side San Jose, specifically the roads of South White Road, Tully Road, Quimby Road, and Evergreen. And I will also submit these in a written comment because I know that I'm naming a lot of streets. The boundaries that capture this community of interest begin south of East Santa Clara and follow the 101 to the foothills. We are calling in today to ask the Commission to keep our North San Jose community of interest with Fremont and Santa Clara. The Philam community in North San Jose would be best served by being placed together with Fremont and Santa Clara as they share similar socioeconomic and home ownership statuses. Whereas our community in Eastside San Jose would be better served in Assembly District 27 because of the shared interest in employment, community spaces, and housing resources with neighboring communities of interest. The communities in which PhilAms live have shared needs and interest around transportation, public health and safety, housing, jobs, and community spaces and landmarks, and education. For instance, the 200% increase in anti-Asian hate crime and incidents in the United States and, of course, in our county concerns our community's safety to run simple errands like grocery shopping, going to the bank, the mall, church, or even walking around our neighborhood. In addition, our community needs workplace protections for frontline workers, noting that an estimated 1/3 of employed PhilAms are healthcare workers and or domestic caregivers, with the majority being Filipina women. Our community has shared public policy concerns with other AAPI communities, and we believe that these communities would best be served if the areas in which they lived are kept together and held intact. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you so much. Right now will be 006, and then up next will be caller 0100, unique ID 010. It's a lot of zeros and ones. And then after that, we will be going into the callers and those that are here from the next session early. 006, I will be promoting you now. 006, your speaker order number will be number 8. If you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'd like to focus on the North Coast from Marin County to Trinity County. Good afternoon, commissioners, and thanks for the opportunity to speak. My name is Eli Beckman, and I'm the mayor of Corte Madera in Marin County, although I'm speaking today in my personal capacity as a member of the North Coast community. There are 2 points I'd like to highlight as we discuss redistricting. The first is the importance of keeping the North Coast community intact. The North Coast is a vibrant group of many small communities that are bound tightly together by shared social, cultural, and economic ties. On the social front, North Coast communities share similar demographics, containing many longtime and older residents with deep ties to the North Coast. Culturally, the North Coast is tied together by a deeply ingrained love of outdoor recreation and a reverence for the North Coast's natural beauty. And economically, we are tied together by the 101 corridor, which is the nerve center that connects many of these communities. But equally important, beyond the 101 corridor, North Coast communities are also tied together by vast and productive agricultural lands, which form the other economic backbone of the region. Agriculture is a shared tradition in these communities. The second issue I'd like to highlight is the negative impacts on North Coast communities if they were to be combined with San Francisco in a district. Being a major international city, San Francisco exerts a kind of field of gravity in the minds of policymakers. This is natural and logical, but it also makes it critical that the small North Coast communities remain in their own district. I see 3 major dangers to lumping any North Coast community in with San Francisco. First, grouping any of these smaller communities with a major city like San Francisco would effectively deprive that smaller community of political representation. In all likelihood, the chance of a political candidate from a small community outside San Francisco being elected to represent a district containing San Francisco is highly improbable, effectively locking smaller communities out of representation. Second, when state and federal resources are distributed to state Senate or congressional districts, we know from experience that larger communities can sometimes overshadow smaller communities in the same district. Grouping any North Coast community with San Francisco would risk that community losing out on resources due to being overshadowed by the prominence of San Francisco. Finally, the North Coast is extraordinarily vulnerable to numerous types of disaster, including earthquake, wildfire, and sea level rise. For smaller communities like ours, federal and state assistance are often our only chance of coping. If grouped in with San Francisco, in the event of a shared disaster, I fear federal and state attention would go first and foremost to San Francisco, leaving smaller North Coast communities to fend for themselves. These points illustrate why it's so critical that our redistricting process keeps the counties of the North Coast intact. Thank you.
A quick question for the speaker.
Just a moment, Chair.
Thank you.
.006, if you could please unmute. The chair had an additional question for you.
Please.
Yes, thank you. You mentioned North Coast communities, and I believe from Marin to Trinity counties. Can you specify the counties or cities that you would contain, or communities that are part of the North Coast?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the the cultural sense in which that term is often used, the North Coast entails Marin County, Sonoma County, Mendocino County, Humboldt County, Trinity County, and Del Norte County. These are the counties that I was really talking about, and the smaller communities maintained therein. Some of these counties actually only have like one or a handful of incorporated communities, but it's this kind of broader tapestry of smaller communities, census designated places, whatnot, that are really tied together in the ways that I described.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right now we will have caller 0100, unique ID 010. And then up next after that will be unique ID 029. So caller 0100, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time by pressing *6. Caller 0100, your speaker order number will be number 9, if you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much. This is Judy Lloyd calling. I am the CEO of the Danville Area Chamber of Commerce in Danville, California. We're located along Highway 680 in the East Bay of San Francisco. I really want to thank all of you as commissioners and staff for your service as part of the Citizens Redistricting Commission. We really admire your commitment to public service and drawing fair lines that keep communities together. I'm here today representing the 5 chambers of commerce in the Danville area: Dublin, Livermore, Pleasanton, San Ramon, and of course, Danville. Together, we represent these communities along with others in unincorporated areas, including Alamo, Blackhawk, Diablo, Sunol, and others in the unincorporated part of Alameda and Contra Costa. Today, we submitted a written letter regarding our interest in keeping the Tri-Valley communities together. Though each of our communities has unique features, they're closely intertwined and well known as the Tri-Valley community. Here are some facts about what binds us as a community. Our Tri-Valley local governments, including the town of Danville and the cities of Dublin, Livermore, Pleasanton, and San Ramon, collaborate significantly in setting local policy, and together we advocate on the county, state, and federal level. We work on regional issues like housing, transportation, healthcare, and jobs, and partner with nonprofit organizations serving our region like the Tri-Valley Haven, Tri-Valley Conservancy, Tri-Valley Nonprofit Alliance, Innovation Tri-Valley, and Visit Tri-Valley. We also share special districts, including water districts, fire districts, and school districts. And many of these elected bodies have representation from several different cities in our Tri-Valley region. Our residents work, live, and play here. We shop here along the 580-680 corridor. Many of our kids play in leagues based in the Tri-Valley, including soccer, football, baseball, and cricket. All this connectivity within the Tri-Valley is because we all share interests, common goals, our regional economy, culture, and commutes to and from work. We respectfully request that you keep our Tri-Valley region and our communities whole and together. This will allow our elected legislative leaders to represent us effectively and efficiently, and for our government to function better. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you so much. Right now we have 029, and then up next we will have caller 8454. 029, I will be promoting you now. (029), your speaker order number will be number 10, if you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. My name is Raj Salwan. I'm from Fremont City Council. So I'm focusing on City of Fremont as well as a larger CA17. Fremont is a very diverse community. We're one of the few majority communities. We have a very large Asian American population, very heavy South Asian, as well as East Asian. And so we are interested in continuing the relationship we have now as far as how Fremont, Milpitas, Berryessa, Sunnyvale, and Santa Clara and Cupertino are all one big district. And we have similar interests as far as affordable housing, as far as the tech jobs. A lot of our workers go to those places. We have much in common as far as our demographics, as far as the education, and as far as the needs of the community. And our community is definitely increasing, and we want to continue to be in that same neighborhood. Also, I want to say that Fremont has been divided, for a while in the assembly districts as well as our congressional districts, and we would like to be made whole and to be one big district so that we can have, a dedicated Congress member as well as a dedicated assembly member. The Senate is not a concern right now, but hopefully we can continue to maintain that. This comment is not just myself, it's also with our mayor, Lily May, as well as Vice Mayor Yang Xiao, as well as Council Member Rick Jones. So again, I look forward to listening to your comments and your suggestions, and I hope that you will continue to respect the new district that we have. Both our AD 25 as well as CA 17 are new districts, and they have served us well. So we look forward to your dialogue and appreciate all the hard work that all of you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you so much. Right now will be caller 8454, and up next will be caller 1899. And I'd also like to invite those that have called in to please press *9 to raise your hands, indicating you wish to give comment. Caller 8454, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller with the last 4 digits, 8454, if you will please, there you go. Your speaker order number will be number 11, if you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the member know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is TJ, and I'm going to represent on the Assembly District 25, and Council District 17, and also Senate District 10. I agree with the Councilmember Raj Salwan, so we can. I appreciate you guys keep a hard work, so continue to keep on our same way to our district, and we have all the Indian, Asian community, Chinese community all work together, and also we have a homeless issues. We have continue working a lot, so we want to continue keep on the same our district to going to the whatever we have right now, so keep it in the same way. So I really appreciate for your hard work, and thank you for Councilmember Raj Salwan to give updates, and I'm agree with him. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Up next will be caller 1899, and after that will be caller 9055. Caller 1899, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller 1899, your speaker order number will be number 12, if you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the member know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Del Norte County. I can start now. As a lifelong resident of Del Norte County, I am very concerned that we make sure our representation keeps us on the coast. Almost everything we do, because we are extremely isolated, only 26,000 people in our county, and in order to access services like support services for health or support services for education, our parent communities are based in Humboldt County, which is to the south of us. And in order to get there, it's already a 2-hour drive to get to Humboldt County, to Eureka. If I were to go to Reading, where my center would be if I were transferred into the area immediately east of me, it would require me to literally leave the state and re-enter the state to get to my congressional district. Or I could leave my congressional district and drive south and enter a new congressional district and cross the mountains and get to back to mine. So Del Norte County is extremely isolated. And if you move us east into our neighboring counties, the only way we can get there is either to A, leave the state, or B, continue to be part of Humboldt County and always access Humboldt County before we would move to the east. So it's just imperative that we stay north-south. All of our services, our education, our health services, or even our churches have their diocese or parent organizations, so to speak, are all north-south and are all on the coast, because we have unique needs on the coast that differ just based on our geographic location and our isolation. So I urge you to please make sure that the little communities stay put where they are, because their representation has been developed over years, and our hope and voice to any needs that we have when we reach to either the state or federal level or even national organizations, we need to do it through Humboldt County because of our
30 seconds.
Because of our location north-south. So I'm just wanting everyone to remember on the commission, and I appreciate your help, that we're isolated and little, and we really need to be part of Humboldt County. Thank you for listening.
A clarifying question for the caller.
Just a moment, Chair. Could caller 1899 please press *6? The chair had some additional questions for you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for calling in today. A quick question about your community of interest. Would you, the communities that you consider part of your community of interest, Del Norte County and is it Humboldt? Are there any other communities, or is that your community?
Humboldt County is our primary community. We are the only incorporated community in our county of 26,000, and so Crescent City is the only city within 100 miles of here. The only incorporated city. We reach to Humboldt County where they have Arcata and Eureka. So our only incorporated structure reaches north-south.
Great, appreciate it, and thank you for taking the time to educate.
Thank you for hearing us.
Absolutely, thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Right now will be caller 9055, and then up next will be caller 1693. Caller 9055, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller 9055, your speaker order number will be number 13. If you will please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Hello, I'm in Loma Mar in South Coastal San Mateo County.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Hi, my name is David McIntyre. I'm very concerned about the way my area is districted. Right now, I'm in District 18, which has a mismatched set of priorities. We're split between the Silicon Valley and rural coastal areas. The Valley has a heavy focus on businesses and innovation and has a transit system that's concentrated on commuting between relatively high-density housing and offices up and down the peninsula. The coast has a much lower population density and more agrarian economy with sparse transit system and a vastly different housing situation. It seems difficult for the District 18 representative to fully understand and support the dual nature of the district. I'd like to propose that the part of District 18 containing Pacifica to Santa Cruz from the from the coast to the ridge be removed from District 18 and added to District 20, which contains Monterey, Santa Cruz, and other lower density agrarian populations. This will allow the representative to consider issues that are more universal to their constituency. Thank you for your consideration and for taking our input into the process.
Thank you for calling in.
Right now we will have caller 1693, and then up next will be caller 7387. Caller 1693, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller 1693, your speaker order number will be number 14 if you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Sure. Can you please hear me?
We sure can.
Yeah. I would like to talk about the Sunnyvale area. So I am a Silicon Valley resident and I work in Sunnyvale for a big tech company. And I am very much interested in having an Asian representative from Silicon Valley's Congressional District 18. I am an immigrant from I'm an immigrant who suffered persecution basically at the hands of some, I would say some radical ideology. So as I moved to the Bay Area, basically, when I see the diversity, and that's really basically, that's why we like to maintain the balance. So the Asian American community is keenly invested in the success of Silicon Valley's tech and economy. We are launching startups and we are the power of tech economy with our hard work, technology skills, and technical education. But we do not have much to say in politics. Having Asian American representatives helps upward mobility of the community by accessing services such as education, healthcare, public services, and more for the immigrant community. Asian Americans are largest minority community of Congressional District 18, but this district has never had any minority congressional representation. So that's unfortunate. With this, can the Redistricting Commission ensure that more Asian Americans have a chance to be elected to Congress? Can you please group communities of interest to the residents in a city, neighborhood, or ethnic group having political representation to voting? The redistricting in Silicon Valley would ensure that more Asian Americans will have a chance to be elected to Congress. My recommendation is that you include cities of Sunnyvale, Cupertino, and Santa Clara into Congressional District 18, which will group the Asian communities in District 18 and will help with the chance to have Asian representation from both 17 and 18. So yeah, so to conclude, I would say many of the speakers said that they want the community to be in one place, but I would say the diversity should spread. I mean, why we want to have all the, why all District 17 like to have all the fruit? District 18 should also have some Asians should also get chance to get elected from there. So yeah, that's the idea. Thank you.
Thank you for calling in.
Right now we will have caller 7387, and then up next will be caller 5302. And I would like to invite those that have called in that have not given comment today to please press star 9 if they wish to give comment to raise their hand. Caller 7387, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller 7387, your speaker order number will be number 15 if you will please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. My name is Otto Lee. I live in the city of Sunnyvale for the past 25 years and served as a mayor about a dozen years ago. Currently, I'm serving as the county supervisor for the District 3, which includes North Sunnyvale, Milpitas, Berryessa area, and San Jose, and actually wraps around the foothill to the Evergreen area. This is what the current district is for the county district. I'm talking about the current district we have in both CD 17, which includes Sunnyvale, and also another assembly district, even though Sunnyvale is not in there, but I am also talking about this area, which includes Milpitas and Berryessa. These areas actually are extremely highly populated by the Asian community. There was a bit of a travesty that took place about prior redistricting, and that got corrected. And I'm talking about 80-25. Prior to the last redistricting, the Berryessa area, which is, like I said, mentioned, a very high Asian population, was divided into 4 assembly districts, which is really unfortunate. And that was one inequity which we believe has been corrected. And we believe the current drawing of 80-25 has a very good community of interest to include area, which includes, we said, like Fremont, includes Milpitas, includes Berryessa, and keeping this Asian, being one of the largest Asian represented district in the state assembly. Along the same line, the congressional district 17 right now, as I understand, is actually one of the highest, if not the highest, Asian represented congressional district in the country. So we are happy and satisfied with the current lines the way it's been drawn. So I just want to bring those points up. And as a county supervisor, even though we have different lines, but we certainly have very close overlapping area for the same reasons. And I urge the commission to take note of these important considerations. And thank you so much for your service, serving our community on this very important work. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Right now we will have caller 5302, and then up next will be caller 7545. Caller 5302, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller 5302, your speaker order number will be number 16, if you will please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Dominique Dene. I'm representing the California-Hawaii State Conference National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP. We represent 56 branches of members who are deeply invested in this topic throughout the state of California. Our main concern is keeping African-American businesses and communities strong throughout the state. We have sincere desire to unite the Black communities in Oakland under one state assembly and one state Senate district. The city of Oakland specifically should be united into one assembly, AD 18, and Senate district SD 9. And there's no real reason or rationale why the areas of the city north of downtown and I-580 should be bifurcated from the rest of the city by assembly districts. The split not only hurts representation for Oakland residents, but continues the division of the Black community along a freeway barrier. In the northern East Bay area, another area of concern is the city of Vallejo. While located in Solano County, Vallejo has much more in common with the urban areas of the East Bay, like Richmond and San Pablo, and the commission should consider including Vallejo and East Bay Center in East Bay Assembly District 15 and Senate District SD 9. That includes the shores of the San Francisco Bay. Additionally, we want to continue to encourage you all to think about who and how you're partnering with to get the word out about this community input process. I believe I said this last time. It's very important to us. Equity and equality and the drawing of the lines is important to us as well. Community involvement and collaboration is critical to this effort, and keeping communities whole and not causing disruption is most critical to us. On behalf of the California-Hawaii State Conference NAACP, we thank you for your consideration of our concerns.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you so much. And right now we will have caller 7545. If you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller with the last 4 7545. If you will please press star 6 at this time to unmute. Again, caller with the last 47545, if you'll please press star 6 to unmute. Caller 7545, your speaker order number will be number 17. If you'll please make note of that, and if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Dobobrato Biswas. I'm from Cupertino, California. 95014 is my zip code. I'm a resident of Silicon Valley, and I work for a company called Palo Alto Networks, located in the city of Santa Clara. I wanted to thank you for your commitment to listen to me first time. I'm very much interested in having an Asian representative from Silicon Valley's Congressional District number 18. My recommendation is that you kindly include the cities of Sunnyvale, Cupertino, and Santa Clara into Congressional District 18, which will group the Asian community into District 18 and will help with a chance of having an Asian representation from both the Congressional District 18 and 17. Thank you for addressing the need of the Asian American community. We hope you will draw the lines to favor our community. I have another point is that within District 18, we have a dichotomy of thriving economy of Palo Alto, Mountain View, Menlo Park versus rural coastline of San Mateo and Santa Cruz County that has their own issues with fire, debris, flows, etc. I submit that you kindly consider moving the rural coastline into Congressional District 20, which has similar issues. Our coastline residents complain of a lack of representation. That will fix the coastline issues. Furthermore, kindly keep the compliance with the Voting Rights Act 1965 and kindly preserve CA 19 to ensure the Hispanics have the opportunity to elect a Hispanic congressional representative. That has never happened yet in CA 19 district. Consider kindly moving areas of San Jose from CA 18 and CA 17 into a Hispanic majority of CA 19. Honestly, the Asian American community is keenly invested in the success of Silicon Valley's economy. We are launching startups and we power the tech economy with our hard work, technology skill, and technical education. But we do not have much say in politics, to be honest. Having Asian American representatives helps upward mobility of our community by accessing services such as education, healthcare, public services, and more for our Asian community. Hence, I will request my idea about submission for your kind consideration. Thank you very much for your continued service.
Thank you for your comments and for calling in.
Thank you so much. And Chair, at this time, we are up against a break.
Yes, we are at the 4:30 break. So we will be breaking for 15 minutes. And when we come back, Commissioner Yee will be chairing the meeting for the next session. With that, we will be back at 4:45. And thank you for
Welcome back to the California Citizens Redistricting Commission Community of Interest Input Meeting. I am Commissioner Russell Yee, and I'll be chairing this portion of the meeting. As always, we encourage you to check out our Communities of Interest mapping tool. That's at drawmycacommunity.org, drawmycacommunity, it's all one word, .org, and there you can draw us a map and provide us a description of your community. And you're welcome to do that instead of or in addition to calling in today. As a reminder, we're offering language lines for those who would like to listen in Spanish, Mandarin, Cantonese, or Russian. And instructions for those listen-only lines are on the live stream webpage. For those who wish to give their testimony in one of those languages, we have a separate line, and we'll now have our interpreters give instructions for those call-in lines. So if we could start with the Spanish interpreter, please read the full call-in instructions.
Hi, Commissioner. This is the interpreter for Spanish. Aquellos que deseen escuchar la reunión en español, por favor llamen al 888-566-1377 e ingresen el número de la reunión 389-109. 389-1010. De nuevo, ese número es 888-566-1377 e ingresen el número de la reunión 389-1010 para los hispanohablantes que deseen escuchar la reunión en español. Si desea dar su comentario público, el número que debe llamar es 877-853-5247. De nuevo, ese número para dar su comentario público es 877-853-5247. Necesitará ingresar el número 879-1920-3919. Tendrá que llamar a este nuevo número para poder dar su comentario público. Si necesita un intérprete para su comentario, habrá una disponible en este número. Si llama para dar su comentario público, no cuelgue o perderá su lugar en la fila. Gracias. Thank you.
Gracias. We now have our Mandarin interpreter provide the full call-in instructions.
国语听众请打188-8455-5950收听本会议，并输入会议 ID 号码是546-1715。再说一遍，国语的听众请您拨打188-455-5950来收听本会议，并输入会议 ID 号码是546-1715。如果您想要打电话进来发表意见，请您打号码1877-853-5247。想要表达意见的电话号码是877-853-5247。之后呢，输入879-1920-3919。如果您想要发表评论的话，请您按星号键和数字9。您必须要打这通新电话才能够发表公众的意见。电话是877-853-5247。如果您需要透过口译员来发表意见的话，您在这条发言专线上，我们会有口译员为您服务。打电话进来发言的时候，请你们继续留在线上，不要挂断，不然会失去排队的位置。谢谢。Thank you, Chair.
谢谢。And now for our Cantonese interpreter to provide the full call-in instructions.
Thank you, Commissioner Yi. The following is the full calling instruction in Cantonese. 廣東話嘅聽眾請致電800-988-9658收聽會議廣東話翻譯，並且輸入號碼377-6377。重複，廣東話聽眾請致電800-988-9658收聽會議廣東話翻譯，並且輸入號碼377-6377。如果你想致電表達公共意見，電話號碼係877-853-5247。重複，電話號碼係877-853-5247。你需要輸入879-1920-3919。為咗表示你想表達意見，請按星9。你需要致電嗰個電話新嘅號碼，表達公眾意見。如果你使用翻譯提供意見，在此發言電話上面會有翻譯提供俾你。如果你致電發言，請唔好收線，否則你需要重新排隊。Back to you, Commissioner Yi.
Okay. Okay, and then our Russian interpreter, please provide the call-in instructions.
Thank you, Chair. What follows is the full list of the Russian instructions. Те, кто говорит и слушает по-русски, пожалуйста, позвоните по номеру 1-800-619-4436 для того, чтобы слушать перевод этой встречи на русский язык, и введите идентификатор встречи 119-1472. Еще раз, номер для дозвона 1-800-619-4436. Пожалуйста, введите идентификатор встречи 1191472. Если вы хотите предоставить публичный комментарий, номер для дозвона 877-853-5247. Повторю, номер для дозвона, для тех, кто хочет предоставить публичный комментарий, 877-853-5247. Вам необходимо будет ввести затем следующий номер 879-192-03-919. Если вы хотите сообщить о своем желании прокомментировать слушание, пожалуйста, нажмите сочетание символов *9. Вам необходимо будет набрать этот новый номер для того, чтобы предоставить публичный комментарий. Если вы используете переводчика для того, чтобы предоставить комментарий, для вас будет по этому номеру присутствовать переводчик, этому номеру дозвона. Если вы хотите дозвониться, чтобы выступить, пожалуйста, не вешайте трубку, поскольку вы потеряете свое место в очереди. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Спасибо. Okay, as a reminder, even though we're focusing on the Bay Area today, Californians from anywhere in the state are welcome to provide input on any part of the state. I'll now pass this over to Katie, our comment moderator, to continue with public input. We'll start people who are registered and then open the phone lines if there's time before the next session. Katie, when you have completed the instructions, please also request the Tagalog interpreter to read the site translation for the open public input session instructions. Thank you.
Absolutely, Chair. Thank you so much. Welcome to the public input session. Please use the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen to enter the queue. When it is your turn, I will identify you by your assigned unique ID number from your invite. You will be reconnected to the session with the ability to enable your own video and/or audio. You will then be assigned a speaker order number before you begin speaking. Please make a note of your speaker order number for future reference. The Commission will be enforcing a 3-minute time limit for English speakers and a 6-minute time limit for those with an interpreter. There will be a warning at 30 seconds and 15 seconds remaining. It is the Commission's goal to find the area on the map you would like to discuss prior to your testimony. If you are within a specific neighborhood of a large city, please mention it by name. Once we are able to locate your area, your 3 or 6-minute testimony will begin. Attendees will not be able to share their screen. At the end of your public input, or at the end of your time, you will be reconnected in a listen and view only mode. At the beginning of your input, please remind the mapper of what area you would like to see on the screen. Could I please invite the Tagalog interpreter to
Okay.
read the instructions? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. This is the Tagalog interpreter. Maligayang bati po sa pagsali ninyo dito sa public input session at kayo po ay inuutusan na tumawag sa telepono sa bilang na nakasulat na 877-853-5247. Uulitin ko po, 877-853-5247. Pag kayo ay inutusan, ilagay po ninyo ang inyong bilang na 8-7-1-20-3-1-9. Uulitin ko po, ang bilang ay 8-7-11-20-3-1-9. At pag sinabi sa inyo, ay pindutin nyo lang po yung pound sign. Pagka kayo po ay nakatawag na, kayo ay ilalagay sa isang pila. Kung nais nyo pong magsalita, pindutin lang po ang *. Ito po ay para itaas ang inyong kamay para makita ng moderator. Tapos, pag panahon nyo na po para magsalita, maririnig ninyo na masasabihan kayo na panahon nyo na magsalita at pakipindot lang po yung star 6 para magsalita. Kung nais nyo pong ibigay inyong pangalan, maaari po, ngunit hindi kinakailangang ibigay ninyo ang inyong pangalan para magbigay kayo ng inyong salaysay. Salamat po. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The Tagalog interpreter, if you could just stay on. The person who requested your services is here. It is unique ID 015. I will go ahead and be promoting you now.
Okay, thank you.
There appears to be some connectivity issues, so I will just be allowing them to talk. One moment. Is the Tagalog interpreter there? Could you
Yes.
please interpret unique ID 015? If you could please unmute at this time.
Yung pong nagbibilang ng unique ID 015, pakipindot lang po ang unmute para sa sarili ninyo sa panahong ito.
Okay, well, we will come. Oh, one moment. I'm going to try sending a chat real fast. All right, we will come back to 015.
Babalik po tayo para kay 015.
Thank you so much.
Maraming salamat.
At this time, we will go to 013, and then up next will be 023. 013, I will be promoting you now. 013, your speaker order number is number 18, if you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I would like to speak to the San Francisco Chinatown neighborhood. Great. Hello, my name is Christopher Chin, and I am the community advocate on the voting rights team at Advancing Justice Asian Law Caucus, located in San Francisco, California. I'm calling in to share some information about the communities where our clients live in San Francisco and to provide an introduction for the AAPI and AMEMSA State Redistricting Collaborative for the San Francisco Peninsula and the East Bay. As the Commission may know, along with Advancing Justice Los Angeles, the Asian Law Caucus leads the AAPI and AMEMSA State Redistricting Collaborative and have worked to engage organizations and individuals in the San Francisco Peninsula and in the East Bay. The testimony that my colleagues and I have prepared for you today reflects our engagement with our community members and community-based organizations to identify COIs that capture the diversity of our regions. Similar to the collaborative's work in the South Bay, our San Francisco Peninsula and East Bay regional tables each held 4 community workshops, reaching 18 community-based organizations and over 30 community members and staff. Besides identifying COIs, we also use these meetings to educate attendees on the importance of redistricting and share the various ways for community members to engage with the CCRC. The feedback that we have collected for you today comes from a variety of stakeholders, including community health providers, families, leaders, and community organizers. As the nation's first legal and civil rights organization serving low-income Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, the Asian Law Caucus is committed to utilizing advocacy, community engagement, and direct legal service to uplift the most vulnerable of our communities. In San Francisco alone, our housing and workers' rights programs provided legal counseling and representation to over 200 clients in 2020. Significant concentrations of these clients that we serve are found in historic San Francisco Chinatown, as well as the Excelsior and Balboa Park neighborhoods. As the oldest Chinatown in North America, San Francisco's Chinatown houses a large portion of senior, limited English proficient immigrants. Many of the community members we serve in Chinatown are working class and single room occupant residents, having similar policy needs, including a need for language assistance, as well as tenant and employment protections. Farther south, there is another concentration of low income and immigrant communities in the Excelsior and Balboa Park neighborhoods. Many of the clients we serve within these areas are low income Chinese residents, many of whom have historically been displaced due to rising housing costs in the city. Many residents in these neighborhoods have come to us with concerns related to their unemployment assistance and eviction from their homes. Language barriers are also a challenge for many of our clients from Excelsior and Balboa Park. Today, I am urging the Commission to respect the integrity of both these COIs, each holding importance for the Chinese communities we serve in San Francisco.
15 seconds.
Thank you so much for hearing from me today and the rest of the AAPI and AMEMSA State Redistricting Collaborative. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right now we will have 023, and then after that will be 018. 023, I will be promoting you now. Zero two three, your speaker order number will be 19, if you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours. Zero two three. You are still on mute, sir.
There we go.
There we go.
My name is Frank Gordon, and I would like to speak to the area of northern Contra Costa County and southern Solano County.
Zero two three.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I spent 12 years on the Contra Costa County Environmental Protection Commission, the Industrial Safety Commission, and I'd like to speak to the issue of the fact that Contra Costa County is the second largest industrial county in the state, and we share a lot of similarities with southern Solano County with the refineries and major industrial areas. And my feeling is that those two areas should be kept pretty much together when it comes to state representation because of the industrial similarities. The fact that Contra Costa County has its own industrial safety ordinance, of which Solano County has had an interest in and has actually had an interest in us managing an industrial safety ordinance for them. So it would be appropriate to have our state representation in pretty much the same areas. That would include Richmond, Martinez, Benicia, parts of Vallejo, all the way out to Pittsburgh. So that is my input.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right now we will have 018, and then up next will be 027. 018, I will be promoting you now. 018, your speaker order number will be number 20 if you'll please make note of that for future reference. You can now enable your audio and video on the lower left corner of your screen. If you will please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Good evening, everyone. I will be speaking to North San Mateo County, Daly City, South City.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Perfect. Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Rob Chua, representing the Filipino Bayanihan Resource Center, PBRC, a nonprofit community-based organization located in Daly City. PBRC has provided direct services since 1989 to the Filipino population of San Mateo County, including legal services, immigration services, food distribution, and cultural activities. Today, I'll be speaking as part of the API MEMSA Redistricting Collaborative to cover the following areas: Daly City and South City, including the Westboro and Bury neighborhoods. Most of our PhilAm COIs are encapsulated within the boundaries of Daly City, including Serramonte, St. Francis Square, Westlake, and Hillside. Daly City also houses the largest concentration of Filipinos in the United States per capita. And according to the 2019 census, 1 in 3 individuals in Daly City identifies as Filipino. As seen on the map, our community has grown exponentially and has gradually moved south, covering the Westboro and Bury neighborhoods. Westboro begins north on King Drive and follows the Junipero Serra and Skyline Boulevard, south to Valleywood Drive. And Bury begins south on Westboro Boulevard, moving north along the 280 corridor to Arlington Drive. This northern boundary extends to Mission Street and wraps around the Holy Cross Cemetery. The neighborhood is closed off along Hillside Boulevard to the west, finally connecting the Chestnut Boulevard to the south. These neighborhoods house major places of worship that serve as community hubs. And since many Filipino families in the region are immigrants, many are concerned about language barriers, institutional accessibility, and civic participation. If the community continues to be divided, we fear that the growing number of Filipino immigrants will be in isolation from other Filipino Americans. Inequities in health disproportionately affect the Filipino community, and as health disparities are shaped by socioeconomic challenges and the lack of culturally competent resources. With a high representation of Filipino Americans performing essential services, our community members have been asked to risk their lives to make ends meet. In particular, the great presence of Filipino Americans in the healthcare industry has led to an alarming rate of death for registered nurses from amongst our community. And according to the LA Times, approximately 1/4 of the Asian American population in California represents Filipino Americans. Yet Filipino Americans account for at least 35% of COVID-19 deaths in the state's Asian population. During COVID-19, our community members have also faced added mental stressors from unemployment, lack of social support, food and housing insecurity, and an increase in racial violence and harassment across the Bay Area. As these issues distinguish the Filipino community, they also attest to the need for visibility. Our community's experiences must not be homogenized or reduced under the broader Asian American population. PBRC respectfully requests that the Commission keep our communities in Daly City and the Westboro and Bury neighborhoods as a whole and not be divided. Thank you to the Commission for the opportunity to speak today on behalf of PBRC and the PhilAm community.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right now, we will have 027, and up next will be 022. 027, I will be promoting you now. (027), your speaker order number will be number 21 if you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the member know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Yes, I would like to discuss Richmond, California, Richmond, South Richmond, North Richmond, and Central Richmond. So my name is Juanita Towns, and I'm calling to speak about the Iron Triangle in Richmond, California, which includes South Richmond, Central Richmond, and North Richmond. I am the policy advocacy organizer for Building Blocks for Kids. Building Blocks for Kids is a nonprofit organization that helps parents and caregivers to become active advocates and leaders in their community. I am speaking to you today to uplift the importance of protecting communities of interest in Richmond. In the last 5 years, Richmond has drastically changed due to gentrification that has displaced the Black community and caused disorder to the neighborhood. Some of the major concerns for the Black community in this area is the violence going on in this community due to lack of resources as well as housing issues that cause many people to be in fear of losing their housing or being displaced. What's particularly at stake from our organization's perspective is the children in these communities and their parents who are experiencing poverty and worried about not having enough income to provide for their families. There is a high need for rent programs, mental health programs, as well as need for safe, clean spaces for the homeless community. There is also a huge educational gap for Black children, and we want better for education for them. The Black community throughout this region shares similar concerns and fears, and it is why we are passionate about changing our community. As you begin mapping, we hope that you all are mindful of the community so that we are able to represent who can address these issues. I thank you for listening. I hope you have a blessed evening.
Thank you, caller. Could you stay on just a second?
Yes, please.
So I just wanted to get a clear sense of the boundaries that you're thinking of. So you mentioned
Yes.
North, Central, and South Richmond. Is that all of Richmond then, or just part of Richmond?
That is part of Richmond.
So what would the boundaries of that part be?
Most of the boundaries is going to also include Parchester Village.
So would there be a street or somewhere that
Yes,
you
you can also find South Richmond Carson Boulevard. And that would be in the South Richmond area, Carson Boulevard, McDonald Avenue.
Okay. And how far north? Oh, you're on mute. So how far north would you go?
I would go as far as, I would say Parkway, if that's easier. Richmond Parkway.
Richmond Parkway, okay.
In McLaughlin.
McLaughlin.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
No worries. Have a good evening.
Right now we will have 022, and then up next is going to be, after 022 will be 015. So 022, I will be promoting you now. Zero 22, your speaker order number will be number 22. If you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'd like to speak about Oakland area from the Temescal, Kono area, kind of stretching down to the Chinatown and Lake Merritt area in Oakland.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right. Hi, my name is Yeri Sean, and I've been an Alameda County resident for the past 25 years. I'm Chief of Program Integration and Community Impact at Korean Community Center of the East Bay, which is a nonprofit that has been serving the Bay Area community for the past 44 years. I'm also calling in as a member of the AAPI and AMINSA Redistricting Collaborative. Just a little bit about our organization. We provide social services, health access navigation support, case management for low-income seniors, immigration legal services, health promotion programs, and mental health services. Over 80% of our clients are Asian Americans residing in Alameda County that are low income and limited English proficient. And due to our longtime physical presence in the city of Oakland, a significant number of our clients have also been Oakland residents. I'm calling to ask the Commission to keep Oakland's Koreatown North Gate, also known as Kono, which extends from 20th to 35th Street along the Telegraph Avenue, to and keep it together with Temescal area. Sorry, I just lost the screen. Sorry for, okay. So together with Temescal, which is a neighborhood also centered around Telegraph, and it's located immediately north of Kono. This combined area is very diverse with Asian American communities working and operating businesses who would have similar immigrant experience and common interests when it comes to small business support, language access, labor protection, and neighborhood safety. And furthermore, this area is also a hub for many Korean small businesses that have been rooted in the community for many decades. I also want to ask if the Commission maintains Oakland Chinatown, Uptown, and the close perimeter surrounding the Lake Merritt area within one district as well. The boundaries for this COI is the Freeway 980, Grand Avenue, 880, and the Lakeshore Avenue. These areas combined have over 10 large senior housing complexes with significant Asian senior residents, including Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, and more. Many of the senior community members that we also serve can be found here in close proximity to the Lake Merritt and Chinatown area. With a large Asian elderly population in the area, there's a shared need and challenges such as language access, culturally fitting community resources, and programming. And as these issues can be improved by policymaking, it would be the best that this community of interest is kept together. So overall, I'm asking the Commission to keep the two COIs. The first one is Kono and Temescal, second one being the Chinatown, Uptown, and the Merritt neighborhood, keeping them unified, seeing that these are important neighborhoods for the Korean and greater API community. Thank you for your time and your effort in supporting the communities to thrive.
Caller, could you stay on just a bit? Can we get a little more
Just a moment, Chair. Just a moment. 022, if you could please unmute, the chair had some additional questions for you. Go ahead, Chair.
I've unmuted myself.
Hi, caller. Thank you so much for your input. Could you give just a little bit more detail about the boundaries for Kona and Temescal?
So it's along the Telegraph Avenue. Kono extends from 20th to 35th Street, and Temescal is actually right above that, like, kind of north of that, kind of bordering the 35th Street and also along the Telegraph Avenue.
So how far north would you go finding Temescal?
I could actually submit more detailed map actually in the written or as a document, if that helps.
That would be excellent. Yes, please do.
We can do that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and you can reference your caller number, number 22 today.
Okay,
we'll link that up. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. If I could ask the Tagalog interpreter to please make themselves available, as we have unique ID 015 has chose to raise their hand. I will be promoting you now.
Yun pong 015, kayo na po ang magsasalita.
015. Your speaker order number will be number 23, if you will please make note of that. You can now enable your audio and video in the lower left corner of your screen. If you will please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours. The interpreter?
Yun pong 015, ang inyo pong bilang ay 23, pakitandaan lang po. At pakisabi niyo po kung anong parte ng lugar ang gusto ninyong pag-usapan ngayon. Sabihin niyo lang po.
Good evening. I will be speaking to Alameda County directly to the Union City area.
015, do you require interpretation?
015, kinakailangan niyo po ba ng interpreter?
No, for this one.
Not for this one.
Please stand by just a moment.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Daisy Maction, and I'm currently the Civic Engagement Organizer for Filipino Advocates for Justice. I was born and raised in Alameda County and have lived here for 24 years. Filipino Advocates for Justice is an advocate for immigrant, worker, and civil rights. I am also with the API and a MESMA Redistricting Collaborative. FAJ serves more than 130,000 Filipinos who call the East Bay area home through our offices in Oakland's Chinatown and Union City. For the past 45 years, we have helped the most marginalized in the Filipino community navigate challenges in the US through middle and high school age youth, low-wage workers vulnerable to exploitation, immigrants, and tenants and families in working class neighborhoods. FAJ also holds space for a lot of youth leadership development through our after-school activities and civic engagement opportunities in Union City. According to the US Census Bureau, the API community makes up 53.4% of the population in Union City. Union City geographically covers 19.4 square miles, but has increased in growth since 2010 by 5.3%. The total population is currently at approximately 73,000, with a population density of 3,773 people per square mile. This is a considerable amount of Asian immigrants who reside in Union City. The Asian community in Union City continues to grow, with the Filipino community being more than 20% of the population. The Asian communities as a whole have shared concerns regarding socioeconomic, education, and healthcare interests. I asked the Commission to keep Union City all together going into the new Assembly, State Senate, and congressional districts. I recommend that the Commission also keep Union City with its neighboring areas, such as Hayward, San Lorenzo, as a whole to respect our community of interest. From sharing the same businesses, community organizations, churches, and educational institutions, Filipino Americans of Alameda County have created a sense of belonging with one another. Therefore, it is imperative to keep these communities intact. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much. Right now, we will have 021, and up next after that will be 020. I would like to invite 014 to use the raise your hand button at the bottom of your screen if you wish to give comment. 021, I will be promoting you now. Your speaker order number will be number 24. If you'll please make note of that for future reference. You can now enable your audio and video in the lower left corner of your screen. If you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Michael Deegan McCree, and this evening I will be talking about both West Contra Costa County, specifically Richmond, California, and I will also be talking about Alameda County, closer to the East Oakland area as well.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much. Again, as I stated, my name is Michael Deegan McCree, and I'm a longtime resident of Richmond and Oakland, California. Tonight, I'm speaking as a representative of the California Black Census and Redistricting Hub. In addition to my own experience as a Black Californian, our coalition of Bay Area-based organizations engaged members from all across the Bay Area to collect a greater understanding of the historical implications of redistricting on our community. Tonight, I decided to call in to summarize and uplift the communities of interest identified by our coalition members and the community members they engaged in 7 community feedback sessions with more than 54 Bay Area residents. Our coalition partners are Oakland Rising, the Safe Return Project, Lift Up Contra Costa, the Rise Center, Black Women Organized for Political Action, and Building Blocks for Kids. Each spent months engaging members of the community to get a greater understanding of what issues are most prevalent for our community in this region. Each session we held provided an opportunity for our community to come together and discuss the importance of redistricting, as well as the impact it will eventually have on our families, our friends, and the future generations of Black people in the Bay Area. We are able to shed light on how they could engage in this process and the significant opportunity we have to ensure equitable district lines are drawn to protect our communities. Looking at the issues that impact us, the impact of the tech boom over the past 2 decades has been especially difficult as gentrification alters the fabric of our communities. It has ushered in an unaffordable cost of housing, which has pushed our community out of areas we have historically called home. This has pushed Black folks in the East Bay Area further north across the Carquinez Bridge, and more have done what they can to relocate east into Pittsburgh, Antioch, Pleasanton, and as far as Discovery Bay or Tracy. In addition, the conditions of environmental hazards that have threatened both Richmond by way of Chevron and Oakland, especially East Oakland by way of the Oakland Airport, have been issues that continue to threaten our health. Lack of similar life experiences by elected officials on the state level has stunted representative advocacy and prolonged the issues plaguing our community. Also, scarcity and quality education due to failed support of OUSD and West Contra Costa Unified School District by the state, inadequate levels of emergency beds with the threat of another hospital closure, and continuation of poor relationships between law enforcement and our people stands as good reason for the Black community to be taken seriously during this process. The ability to live in an environment safely, securely, confidently is the foundation from which existing communities evolve into thriving communities. The vision is only possible through proper representation from elected officials who understand.
Time.
Caller, if you could stay on.
Just a moment, Chair. 021, if you could please unmute. The chair had some questions for you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much for your input. We wanted to get just a clearer sense of the geography that you have in mind. What communities?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I'm talking about Richmond, I'm mostly talking about South Richmond and North Richmond that push all the way to Point Richmond. So the areas that mostly border along the 80 freeway and down, and then also reaching all the way to the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge.
Okay, and then you also mentioned East Oakland.
Yes, so then if you go over to East Oakland, most of the area that I'm talking about is if you go, if you do the intersection of International and Hagenberger, so around the Havens Court neighborhood, and then pulled all the way down to the area of the Oakland Coliseum, all the way further down to the Oakland International Airport.
So further south, mapper.
Yes, further south.
Yeah.
Down 880.
That's actually where I grew up.
There you go.
Let's go A's.
Let's go A's. Yeah, so
Okay.
those two areas specifically.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, commissioners. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Right now we will have 020, and then up next after that will be 014. I'd also like to invite those that have called in today to press star 9 on their telephone keypads. This will raise your hand if you wish to give comment. 020, I will be promoting you now. Your speaker order number will be number 25, if you'll please make note of that for future reference. You can now enable your audio and video in the lower left corner of your screen. If you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
All right, can you hear me? SF County?
We sure can.
All right.
My name is Tiffany Ng. I'm a Civic Engagement Director at the Chinese Progressive Association. We're participating with the AAPI and a MEMSA Redistricting Collaborative to share about our communities of interest in San Francisco County. My org is a membership-based, and we primarily work with low-income, working-class immigrant Chinese community over the past 50 years. We have a range of services and programs, such as a worker rights wage clinic. We do voter education. We have PPE distribution, and we're very active in 3 specific neighborhoods that include Chinatown, the Excelsior, and the Ocean View Merced Ingleside Heights neighborhood that we call OMI because it's really long. Chinatown is one of the most densely populated neighborhoods and serves as a major hub that connects people from across San Francisco to community services, language resources, and job opportunities. And as of 2017, the median household income in Chinatown was really low at $31,700. Many Chinatown residents struggle with affordability and finding livable housing. Many of them live in single-room occupancy residential housing. I also wanted to highlight the important connection between the Excelsior and the OMI, the Ocean View Merced Ingleside Heights neighborhood. These 2 neighborhoods share many demographic traits and interests that are actually part of the same supervisorial district 11. Have a lot of shared political power in San Francisco. Both of the OMI and the Excelsior residents have concerns about affordability, food security, and access to adequate healthcare services. The San Francisco's OMI neighborhood has experienced a lot of population shifts over the past few decades, with the Asian population making up 54%. The general boundaries of the OMI neighborhood begin with the Holloway Avenue to the north, extending to the 280 freeway to the east and south, as well as the Brotherhood Way and Junipero Serra Boulevard to the west. And the Excelsior boundaries can be drawn starting north along Silver Avenue with eastern and western boundaries of the University Street and Mission. Its southern boundary follows Geneva Ave and includes John McLaren Park. In closing, I'm asking that the Commission unite Asian American communities in the Excelsior and the OMI neighborhoods while respecting the integrity of Chinatown. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Right now we will have 014, and then up next after that will be 028. 014, I will be promoting you now. Zero 014, your speaker order number will be number 26. If you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Hello, I'll be talking about Alameda, San Mateo, San Francisco, and Santa Clara counties. Good evening, my name is June Lim, and I am the Demographic Research Project Director at Asian Americans Advancing Justice Los Angeles, which is a census information center, and an official program of the US Census Bureau designed to promote the dissemination of census data to underserved populations. I am joining you today to present data supporting the COI testimony you've heard from our partners representing the AAPI and MEMSA Redistricting Collaborative. These include COIs in the Berryessa Milpitas, Evergreen and Silver Creek, Santa Clara, Union City, Fremont, Oakland Chinatown, Kono, Oakland Eastlake, San Francisco Japantown and Chinatown, Daly City, and the Excelsior and OMI neighborhoods. The AAPI and MEMSA community is a large and fast-growing part of the Bay Area. The latest census data show that the Asian American population in Alameda, Contra Costa, San Francisco, San Mateo, and Santa Clara counties grew considerably more in the last decade than the county's overall populations. The Asian American community grew by over 30% in each of the aforementioned counties, with the highest growth in Contra Costa County at 44%. Similarly, the Pacific Islander community grew by 32% in Contra Costa. Given such substantial growth, the AAPI and MEMSA communities now comprise more than 1/3 of Alameda, San Francisco, San Mateo, and Santa Clara counties. Our communities make up over half of the communities in Daly City, Union City, Fremont, Sunnyvale, and Milpitas, and over 40% of San Jose, South San Francisco, and Santa Clara. More than half of AAPI and MEMSA communities in these counties are immigrants, with percent foreign-born communities ranging from 52 to 62%. In some of the cities where our COIs are located, such as in Oakland, San Francisco, San Jose, and San Leandro, over 50% of AAPI community members are limited English proficient, meaning they speak English less than very well. Over 70% of Chinese Americans in Oakland and Korean Americans in Union City are LEP, and over 60% of Vietnamese Americans in Oakland, San Jose, San Leandro, and Union City do not speak English very well. There are socioeconomic differences in the AAPI and MEMSA communities that vary across counties and across cities and ethnic groups within these counties. When we look at the cities in which the COIs identified by our collaborative are located, our communities experience significant economic disparities. I will submit to the Commission data maps and shapefiles of these communities of interest with my written testimony. And in closing, the AAPI and MEMSA Redistricting Collaborative asks the Commission to respect the integrity of the communities of interest presented today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right now we will have 028, and then up next after that will be caller 8913. 028, I will be promoting you now. Your speaker order number will be number 27. If you'll please make note of that for future reference. If you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Excuse me, sorry. Is this for 028?
It sure is. Your speaker.
Sorry.
That's okay. Your speaker order number will be number 27, if you'll make note of that. And if you'll let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
West Contra Costa. Hello, everyone. My name is Jamli Ibrahimi. I'm calling in to represent the RISE Center and covering Richmond and West Contra Costa. RISE is a safe and welcoming center for diverse West Contra Costa youth ages 13 to 21, and we seek to build youth power and leadership towards the larger vision of personal and community health and transformation. Since opening in 2008, RISE has served over 5,000 youth members and reached 15,000 more through outreach workshops, census education and outreach, civic and voter mobilization, and community events in Richmond and West Contra Costa County. As an extension of our census and voter education efforts, we conducted a local COI session with Black, Latinx, and API young adults who grew up and or live in Richmond and West Contra Costa County. Young people in Richmond and West Contra Costa County bear the burden of multiple systemic inequities and face persistent dehumanization, stigma, and criminalization by schools, police, media, and public systems. These inequities are exacerbated by historical disinvestment, job, food, transportation deserts, and escalating displacement and push-out. Also, in our COI session, residents lifted up the need for investment in violence prevention that truly addresses the root causes of violence, reallocating money from criminalization to programs for youth and mental health supports, education equity for public schools, ending gender-based violence, increasing supports and programs for the unhoused, addressing public work issues such as more stop signs, preventing flooding when it rains, littering and illegal dumping, supporting communities negatively impacted by the pandemic, and ensuring protections for renters. Many of these strategies are present and need continued support and investment to increase their impact. In my work at RISE, I've had the opportunity to work with BIPOC young leaders who have called on adults that represent systems and government to listen, partner, and implement solutions grounded in the visions and expertise of local residents. This has been possible by building unity and solidarity, and when our representatives are committed to listening and being responsive to our most vulnerable community members. It's imperative that Richmond, North Richmond, San Pablo, and all cities represented in the West Contra Costa Unified School District remain together so that BIPOC residents' voices are elevated and listened to by those who are voted in to represent them and their interests. On behalf of RISE, we appreciate the opportunity to be here today. Thank you for listening and for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right now we will have caller 8913, and then up next after that will be caller 6145. I'd also like to invite those that have called in today to press star 9 to raise your hand indicating you wish to give comment. Caller 8913, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller 8913, your speaker order numbers can be number 28, if you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm a resident of the Silicon Valley, and I work in the high-tech Silicon Valley industry. I'm interested in having an Asian representative for the Congressional District 18. So as you know, the Asian American community is very invested in the Silicon Valley's economy, from startups to CEOs of big companies, corporations, and a number of medium-sized companies. Asian Americans have got a lot of representation, but their representation in the politics have not been that much. For some reason or the other, that interest has not reflected in the politics. And I believe having an Asian American represent the community will be a great way to create the interest of this diversity, of this talented pool to join that. Asian Americans are the largest minority community of the Congressional District 18, but unfortunately, they never had a congressional representation. Can the Commission ensure that we have more representation of the Asian Americans into that? There are a number of ways to bring this diversity into the politics, and having a person of that origin would surely be a great coagulating factor in motivating people to join this. With that aspect, my recommendation is if you could include the cities of Sunnyvale, Cupertino, and Santa Clara into the Congressional District 18, which will group the Asian community and will help a chance to have representation from the District 18. Thank you for addressing the interest of the Asian American community.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right now we will have caller 6145, and then up next after that will be caller 3029. And again, I'd like to invite those that have called in to please press star 9 if you have not given comment today. Caller 6145, if you'll please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller 6145, your speaker order number will be number 29, if you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Arjun, and I am a citizen of Silicon Valley. I would like to talk about Congressional District 19, specifically my concerns with the districts lines of the Congressional District. So currently, Hispanic Americans constitute over 40% of the district's population, making them the largest ethnic group in the district. But there's never been a Hispanic congressional representative from CA 19 in American history. This poses a direct threat to the Hispanic community of not only Congressional District 19, but generally the Hispanic American community of California. The Hispanic population is currently the largest ethnic group in California. And despite their contributions to both the Californian and American economy, their interests as an ethnic group have often been ignored in politics. This is especially true in CA 19 because it has always lacked a Hispanic congressional representative. This reality is in violation of what the Voting Rights Act stands for. The Voting Rights Act was obviously passed with the intention of protecting minorities from voting discrimination, but currently the Hispanic population of CA 19 is unfortunately facing this discrimination as their voices are not heard because of the district lines today. So I think this problem can be resolved by moving areas of San Jose from CA 17 and CA 18 that have a Hispanic majority into CA 19 to ensure that a Hispanic representative is elected in CA 19 for the first time. Thank you for giving me this time, and thank you to the Redistricting Commission for all of your work. Thank you.
Caller, please stay on. Caller?
They are still connected. If the
Could you Yeah, could you, you mentioned portions of San Jose. Could you be more specific about the geography of which portions you would like to see in CA 19?
Yeah, sure. I would like, unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure which areas have the largest Hispanic populations, but specifically targeting those areas of San Jose that are perhaps closest to CA 19 and have a large Hispanic population from CA 17 and CA 18 and moving those to CA 19.
Are there particular neighborhoods you have in mind, or?
What?
Are there particular neighborhoods you have in mind, or anything you could?
Sorry, I don't have anything more specific, unfortunately.
Okay, that's okay. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
Right now we will have caller 3029, and then up next will be caller 9743. Caller 3029, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller 3029, your speaker order number will be number 30. If you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Sure, thank you so much. Can you hear me?
We sure can. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so my name is Om Bachu. I'm not a representation for any PAC or any party or bipartisan or anything. I'm representing this conversation mainly for a Asian community. I've been in California for about 27 years, paying taxes in California. So I lived in Congressional District 3, 17, and I work in the Congressional District 18. So the parity difference of all the Asian communities here is very wide, and Asian community serves a lot of this innovations here, and I would like to see some kind of a nice distribution between 17 and 18, because 17 actually has about a 50% of voter share in the 17, but whereas 18 has less than 20% of voter share. Even though I work in District 18, all the property taxes and the company taxes will be paid in 18, but we don't get the advantage of having our representation in the policy making in the Congress. So, or even the problems such as water, crime, and transportation, we contribute into in the world of innovation, technology, and all that. But we are the worst in the transportation conveniences. If I try to take a transportation from my home to office, it takes about 3 hours. Okay, just the public transportation. So that is like insane. So the optimal way of doing that is the people who actually represent this community, Asian American community. That would be ideal. And it hasn't been any such voices in the Congress so far. I think reshuffling some of this. I heard other voices before me, moving some of the District 18 to District 19 for protecting the Hispanic. I welcome that in the same manner from District 17 to 18. If we can move that mainly for Santa Clara, Sunnyvale and Cupertino, and reswiggle other districts into 17 to keep up the the total population there as well, that would be ideal.
Okay, thank you so much.
Right now we have caller 9743. And I would like to invite those that have called in today that have not given comment that wish to do so. Caller 2326. If you would like to do that, please press star 9 on your telephone keypad. But right now we have caller 9743. Caller 9743, your speaker order number will be number 31. If you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
The area of interest is Cupertino, Sunnyvale, Santa Clara.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Hi, my name is Kishore I've been living and working and paying taxes in the Silicon Valley for the past 15 years. Firstly, thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak here. In short, I'm very much interested in having an Asian representative from Congressional District 18. I've seen how the demography and landscape change over the years. Every time I see someone relocate out of California or a segment of population like the Asian Americans ending up on the receiving end, I feel there needs to be someone who can put their hand up and try to do something about it. And that someone needs to understand the relevant local issues very well, issues concerning the Asian American community, be it education, public services, immigration, healthcare, and so on and so forth. The stats tell us that the Congressional District 18 has never had a minority congressional representation, even though Asian Americans are the largest minority community of this district. The redistricting in Silicon Valley should ensure that more Asian Americans will have a chance to be elected to Congress. So my request for the Redistricting Commission is if they can please ensure that more Asian Americans have a chance to be elected to Congress, and if can the commission group communities of interest so that residents in a city surroundings or a specific ethnic group have political representation through voting. And my specific recommendation is that you include the cities of Sunnyvale, Cupertino, and Santa Clara into Congressional District 18, which will group the Asian community into District 18 and will help with a chance to have an Asian representation from the Congressional District 18. Actually, it will help with a chance to have Asian representation from both Districts 18 and 17. So thank you for hearing me out and for your efforts in addressing the needs of everyone, in particular what I represent, the Asian American community, and I hope you will draw the lines to favor my plea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right now we will have caller 0564, and then up next will be caller 8441. Caller 0564, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller 0564, if you could press *6 one more time. There you are. Your speaker order number will be number 32, if you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Congressional District number 18, California.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Manisha Shah. And I see there's a very low representation of the Asian community in Congressional District 18. We need to have our voice in Washington, and basically you need to redistribute District 17 with 18, because right from Santa Clara to Palo Alto, the diaspora has changed because of the Silicon tech workers. So we are a large number of Asian Indians and Asian Chinese, which represent the minority community, and we have no voice in Washington. So we need to regroup this district 17 and 18. Hello?
Yes. So can you be more specific, a little bit more specific about which communities or cities you have in mind?
Yes, I think Sunnyvale, Cupertino, Milpitas, Fremont, Palo Alto, Los Altos, Saratoga all need, because that actually represents the large chunk of the Silicon Valley with its tech workers, and they are the minority, and they are never represented in District 18. So we need our representation over in Washington to hear our voice over there. So that's why I think 17 and 18 need to be regrouped and merged according to the diaspora that we have, so we can have an elected representative over there in Washington.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Right now, we will have caller 8441, and then up next after that will be caller 2326. Caller 8441, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller 8441, your speaker order number will be number 33. If you will please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Yes, I'd like to discuss the area of Hercules, California, where I'm from. My name is Charles Davidson, and Mike Thompson is our representative, and I live in Contra Costa County. And I think it would be more appropriate for our district, for Rodeo and Hercules, maybe even Crockett, who are in Contra Costa County, to be included in Desognes District number 11. As opposed to Mike Thompson's number 5, because our demographic is very, very similar in our area to the rest of Contra Costa County, that we live right near each other. We're only separated by hills along the San Pablo Bay. We go to each other's stores, and people go to each other's churches in the various cities, and we go back and forth to work. So I think it'd be more appropriate, especially because our demographics are very, very similar in our area. And the children go to each other's schools, such as Richmond and Hercules both have the same school district. So it would be really, I think, more appropriate for us to be in District 11, which is Desognes District that includes a large part of Contra Costa County. So thank you very much. And if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right now, we will have caller 2326, and then up next after that will be caller 5927. Caller 2326, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller 2326, your speaker order number will be 34. If you'll please make note of that for future reference, and if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Commissioner. My name is Sutapa Maiti. I am from Silicon Valley, and I am working in this Silicon Valley high-tech industries for last 21.5 years. Thank you for listening to me. I am very much interested in having an Asian representative in Silicon Valley, Congressional District 18. The Asian American community is keenly invested in the success of Silicon Valley's economy, and but we don't have much say in politics. Having Asian American representatives helps upward mobility of our community. So Asian Americans are the largest minority community of Congressional District 18. But the district has never had a minority congressional representative. Can the redistricting commission ensure that more Asian Americans have a chance to be elected to Congress? Can we please group communities of interest so that residents in a city, neighborhood, or ethnic group have political representation and through voting? The redistricting in Silicon Valley should ensure that more Asian Americans will have a chance to be elected to Congress. My recommendation is to include Sunnyvale, Cupertino, and Santa Clara into Congressional District 18, which will group Asian community into District 18 and will have a chance to have Asian representatives from both the Congressional District 18 and 17. Thank you for addressing the needs of Asian American community. We hope you will redraw the line in favor of our community. Within District 18, we have a dichotomy with thriving economies of Palo Alto, Mountain View, Menlo Park versus rural coastal line of San Mateo and Santa Cruz County that has its own issues with fire,
30
debris, etc. Yeah. I'm sorry.
You still have time remaining.
Oh, okay. So I submit that you kindly consider moving the rural coastal line into Congressional District 20, which has similar issues. Our coastal line residents complain of lack of representation that will fix the Congress coastal line issues. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right now we have caller 5927. And then up next will be caller 8766. Caller 5927, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me okay?
We sure can. Your speaker order number will be number 35, if you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. The area of interest is the city of Sunnyvale. Yeah, so my name is Ajay Lele. Very good evening to all of you. I live in Sunnyvale and work at Palo Alto as part of the information technology industry. As we are all aware, there is a considerable population of Asians in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm a first-generation South Asian immigrant to the United States myself, and I've been living in the Bay Area with my family for the last 12 years. However, the Asian population is not evenly distributed across the different congressional districts. Specifically, Congressman Ro Khanna's district, District 17, has approximately 50% Asian population, whereas Congresswoman Anna Ishu's district, District 18, has around 20%. Asians have, contributed significantly to the success of the high-tech industry in the Silicon Valley, and through hard work, innovation, and technical prowess, we continue to help the power Silicon Valley forward. However, our community has not got its fair share of representation in governance and policy making. If the commission draws lines to redistribute Asians evenly, then chances of an Asian representative from District 18, the heart of Silicon Valley, will increase greatly. This will help Asians like me feel integrated in our communities and empower us to engage and participate in the policy-making matters. So considering that, my sincere request to the Redistricting Commission is that you include the city of Sunnyvale, where I live, and the nearby areas like Cupertino and Santa Clara into District 18. Asian Americans are the largest minority community in District 18, but this district has never had a minority congressional representation. Such a change, which I'm requesting, will give a fair chance to the Asian community to elect a representative from their community for District 18. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you. Just so everyone knows, our next break will come at 6:15.
Right now we have caller 8766. If you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller 8766, your speaker order number will be number 36, if you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Good evening. My name is Tam Nguyen. I'm speaking on behalf of the Vivo organization. It's a 38 years old agency serving the Vietnamese American in the Rock Spring and McLaughlin neighborhood. I would like to bring your attention today to the Vietnamese American community in that area, surrounded by, in the north, Story Road, and then next is Toady Road going south, and further south is Capitol Expressway. From the east is from Center Road. Go from the west to Center Road, then go to McLaughlin. Those are the general area that a lot of Vietnamese American people concentrate. And it has the following very significant monuments that I want to share with you. And the community of concern is to want to keep those areas two together. On Story Road is designated Little Saigon Business District. And you go in south on Lucretia Avenue, there is a Vietnamese American Cultural Center. On Roberts Avenue, which is very close to the Walmart area, there are two. One is the Vietnamese Heritage Garden and the Vietnamese Community Garden. Now going to Center Road, we have the Viet Museum near County Park. And at the corner of Tolle and Center Road, we have a new Vietnamese American Service Center, which will be dedicated very soon. So those are the key items in the community, and we would like for the commission to please give attention and preserve together as community we build and keep those interests within the community. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, caller. Could you stay on just a minute, please?
Just a moment, Chair. Caller 8766. The chair had some additional questions for you, please. Go ahead, Chair.
Yes, thank you so much for those landmarks and various places that you mentioned. Could you maybe describe the outer boundaries of that would include all the areas that you mentioned?
The outer boundary would be as follows. In the north is a Story Road. In the south is Capitol Expressway. From the west is like Monterey Road, and from the east is Highway 101.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
That was our last caller at this time, Chair.
Okay. Let's see, why don't we go ahead and read the instructions for public comment and get started on that?
I can go ahead and do that. In order to maximize transparency and public participation in our process, the commissioners will be taking community of interest input and general public comment for items not on the agenda by phone. To call in, dial the telephone number provided on the live stream feed. It is 877-853-5247. When prompted to enter the meeting ID number provided on the live stream feed, it is 879-1920-3919 for this meeting. When prompted to enter a participant ID, simply press the pound key. Once you have dialed in, you will be placed in a queue. To indicate you wish to comment, please press star 9. This will raise your hand for the moderator. When it is your turn to speak, you will hear a message that says the host would like you to talk and to press star 6 to speak. If you would like to give your name, please state and spell it for the record. You are not required to provide your name to give public comment. Please make sure to mute your computer or live stream audio to prevent any feedback or distortion during your call. Once you are waiting in the queue, be alert for when it is your turn to speak, and again, please turn down the live stream volume. And at this time, Chair, we do not have anyone in the queue.
Okay, why don't we do this? Why don't we roll our 5-minute video and then go straight into our break, and then I'll return at 6:30. Welcome back to the California Citizens Redistricting Commission Communities of Interest Input Meeting. If you're just joining us and would like to listen in on the meeting in Spanish, Mandarin, Cantonese, or Russian, we have listening lines for you. And call-in information for those is on the live stream webpage. We also have separate lines for those who wish to give their public input via interpretation in one of those languages. And right now, for one last time, let's have the instructions for that read by our various interpreters. So we can start with our Spanish language interpreter, and if we could have the full call-in instructions, please. Our Spanish interpreter available?
Sorry about that. The full call-in instructions, Chair?
Yes, please. We'll be taking both public input as well as public comment in this final session.
Okay. Para los hispanohablantes que deseen llamar y escuchar la reunión en español, por favor marquen el 888-566-1377 de nuevo para escuchar a la reunión en español e ingresen el número de la reunión para la identificación de la reunión, que es el 389-1010. De nuevo, el número de teléfono para llamar y escuchar en español es el 566-1377 e ingresen el número de la reunión de identificación, que es 389-1010 para los hispanohablantes que deseen escuchar en español. Si usted desea dar comentario público, el número de teléfono es el 877-853-5247. De nuevo, el número de teléfono para dar su comentario público es el 877-853-5247. Usted va a necesitar ingresar el número 879-1920-3919. Usted va a necesitar marcar este nuevo número de teléfono para poder dar su comentario público. Si usted va a necesitar el servicio de un intérprete para dar su comentario, se le proveerá un intérprete durante su llamada. Si usted está llamando para dar su comentario público, por favor no vaya a colgar, si no perderá su lugar en la fila. Gracias. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And if we could have our Mandarin interpreter provide the full call-in instructions.
Yes, Chair. 国语听众请打1888-455-5950收听本会议，并输入会议 ID 号码是5461715。再重复一遍，国语听众请您打1888-455-5950收听本会议，并输入会议的 ID 号码是5461715。如果您想要打电话进来发表意见，请您拨打号码1877-853-5247。再重复一遍，发表意见的电话号码是1877-853-5247。之后您必须要输入一组号码是879-1920-3919。如果想要发表评论，请您按星号键和数字9。您需要打这个新的号码才能够发表公众的意见。如果您想要透过口译员发表意见，这条发言专线上将会有口译员为您服务。如果您打电话进来发言，请您不要挂断，不然会失去排队的位置。谢谢。Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And our Cantonese interpreter, the full call-in instructions, please.
Thank you, Commissioner Yi. The following is the full calling instructions in Cantonese.
Oh, yeah.
廣東話嘅聽眾請致電800-988-9658收聽會議廣東話翻譯，並且輸入號碼377-6377。重複，廣東話聽眾請致電800-988-9658收聽會議廣東話翻譯，並且輸入號碼377-6377。如果你想致電表達公共意見，電話號碼係877-853-5247。再重複 電話號碼係877-853-5247。你需要輸入879-1920-3919。為咗表示你想表達意見，請按星9。你需要致電該新號碼表達公眾意見。如果你想用翻譯提供意見，請喺呢度發言，電話上面會有翻譯提供俾你。如果你致電發言，請唔好收線，否則你會要重新排隊。Back to you, Commissioner Yi.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Very good. And then Russian interpreter. Full call-in instructions, please. You're muted. One more time. You're still muted.
Инструкции для звонков на русском языке. Русскоговорящие слушатели, пожалуйста, позвоните по номеру 800-619-4436 для того, чтобы прослушать заседание на русском языке. Когда вы наберете этот номер, вам нужно внести идентификационный номер для этого заседания. Номер 1191472. Еще раз. Номер телефона 800-619-4436. После этого идентификационный номер заседания 1191472 для русскоговорящих. Если вы хотите внести комментарий, тогда нужно позвонить по номеру 877-853-5247. Опять-таки, для того, чтобы внести комментарий, звоните по номеру 877-853-5247. После этого вам нужно будет внести номер 87919203919 для того, чтобы указать, что вы хотите внести комментарий, пожалуйста, нажмите звездочка 9. Вам нужно будет набрать этот новый номер для того, чтобы внести свои комментарии. Если вы захотите пользоваться услугами переводчика, для того, чтобы сделать эти комментарии, для вас будет на этой линии переводчик, когда вы позвоните по этому номеру. Если вы звоните, чтобы выступить, пожалуйста, не вешайте трубку, потому что если вы это сделаете, вы потеряете свое место в очереди. Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you. So as a reminder, this final segment, we will be taking public input, whether or not you had an appointment, as well as any public comment anyone wishes to make. We'll take calls, and anyone who's in line before 7 p.m., we will get to you. So if time looks like it's getting short and close to 7, don't worry, as long as you're in line, we will get to you. I will now pass this over to Katie, our comment moderator. And Katie, after reading your instructions, please also invite the Tagalog interpreter to provide site translation for the beginning of open lines instructions.
Yes, Chair. In order to maximize transparency and public participation in our process, the Commissioners will be taking community of interest input and general public comment by phone. To call in, dial the telephone number provided on the live stream feed. It is 877-853-5247. When prompted to enter the meeting ID number provided on the live stream feed, it is 879-1920-3919 for this meeting. When prompted to enter a participant ID, simply press the pound key. Once you have dialed in, you will be placed in a queue. To indicate you wish to comment, please press star 9. This will raise your hand for the moderator. When it is your turn to speak, you will hear a message that says the host would like you to talk and to press star 6 to speak. If you would like to give your name, please state and spell it for the record. You are not required to provide your name to give public comment. Please make sure to mute your computer or live stream audio to prevent any feedback or distortion during your call. Once you are waiting in the queue, be alert for when it is your turn to speak, and again, please turn down the live stream volume. And can I ask the Tagalog interpreter to please interpret the public comment instructions?
Okay. Ang para tumawag lang po sa telepono bilang na binibigay sa inyo para sa live stream feed. Ang bilang po na ito ay 877 853 5247. Pag inutos sa inyo, pindutin lang po yung meeting ID numero 877 20 at pag inutos sa inyo, pindutin lang po yung telepono ng parang pound. Kapag kayo po ay nakatawag na, kayo ay ilalagay sa pila. Kung nais niyo pong magsalita, pindutin lang po ang star siyam. Ito ay para itaas ang inyong kamay para sa namamahala. At pag panahon niyo na para magsalita, sasabihin sa inyo na kayo ay panahon niyo nang magsalita at pakipindot lang po ang star 6 para kayo magsalita. At kung nais niyo pong ibigay ang inyong pangalan, pakisabi lang po at baybayin para sa record. Hindi naman po kinakailangan na ibigay ang inyong pangalan para magbigay kayo ng silaysay sa madla. Pakisigurado lang po ninyo na i-mute ang inyong computer o kaya audio para huwag magkagulo-gulo ang inyong tawag. At pagka kayo po ay nagiintay na doon sa pila, pakinggan lang po kung kailan ninyo kailangan ng magsalita. Ang telepono po ay isasara ng alas 7, kaya kung maaari lang po, tumawag po kayo bago mag-alas 7 ng gabi at mag-intay lang po sa linya. Salamat po. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. And right now we will be going to caller 3985, and then up next will be caller 0085. Caller 3985, if you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller 3985.
Good evening.
Good evening. Your speaker order number will be number 37. If you'll please make note of that, and if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Janet Johnson. I'm a Richmond resident, and I would like to speak on congressional redistricting.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I am very concerned that Richmond remain in Congressional District 11. We want to be with our neighbors in West County. We share many concerns. I'm an environmental justice organizer, and we have several refineries here, both in Richmond and in Rodeo. Those are the closest ones. And we also have other concerns, the toxic waste sites that ring the bay. So our neighbors in West County, we need to stay together, and we need to stay in District 11, that congressional district. Thank you so much.
Caller?
Just a moment, Chair. Caller 3985, if you could please follow the prompt to unmute. Caller 3985, if you could please press stars. I think they're gone, Chair. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Caller 0085, if you could please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. And then up next after that will be caller 4163. Caller 0085, your speaker order number will be number 38. If you'll please make note of that for future reference. And if you'll please let the mapper know of what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Hello. Hi, this is Pushkar and respected members of Commission. Good evening to you. I live in Sunnyvale and work in telecom company in Milpitas. So I want to voice my opinion about including Sunnyvale, Cupertino, and Santa Clara in Congressional District 18, so that the Asian community into District 18 can have better representation. So as you know that the Asian Americans are the largest minority community of the Congressional District 18, but this district has never had a minority congressional representation. Can the Redistricting Commission ensure that the more Asian Americans have a chance to be elected to the Congress? Can you please group the communities of interest so that the residents in a city, neighborhood, or ethnic group have political representation through voting? The redistricting in Sunnyvale should ensure that the more Asian American will have a chance to be elected to the Congress. So my recommendation is that you include the cities of Sunnyvale, Cupertino, and Santa Clara into Congressional District 18, which will group all the Asian community into District 18 and will help with a chance to have an Asian representation from both the Congressional Districts 18 and 17. Thank you for addressing the needs of the Asian American community. We hope you will redraw the lines to favor our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And right now we will have caller 4163. If you will please follow the prompts to unmute at this time. Caller with the last 4163, if you will please press *6 at this time to unmute.
Oh, did that?
Hi, you are unmuted. Your speaker order number will be number 39. If you'll please make note of that, and if you'll please let the mapper know what area you would like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I want to say my name is Maureen Brennan. I live in Rodeo in Contra Costa County, and I wish to be part of District 11 and represented by Mark DeSaulnier. Mike Thompson's a nice guy, but his interests lie in Napa County and Solano. So please let all of Contra Costa be part of Contra Costa District 11. It just makes so much sense. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now is all of our callers at this time, Chair.
Thank you, Katie. We will wait a few minutes, and while we wait, I'll mention that in the coming weeks, we will have additional communities of interest input meetings. The first is tomorrow, the 25th. Same time, 3 p.m. We'll be back in the San Joaquin Valley and surrounding areas in Fresno, Kern, Kings, Madera, Merced, San Joaquin, Stanislaus, and Tulare counties and the surrounding areas. Then on Friday, the 27th at 3 p.m., we'll go out to the coast and focus on Monterey, San Benito, San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, Santa Cruz, and Ventura counties and their surrounding areas. And on Monday, the 30th, we'll head south and focus on San Bernardino, the largest county in the nation, and Riverside counties and their surrounding areas. All those meetings will have Spanish listening lines as well as Spanish interpreters available. You do not need to request those ahead of time. Registration for each of those meetings closes 2 calendar days before at 5 p.m. However, you do not need to register to give input. We simply recommend it in order to secure a time slot and to help us prepare for any interpretation needs you may have. Our next business meeting will be on August 31st at 9:30 a.m. As always, for all our meetings, community of interest meetings, you're not limited to the area that we are focusing on. You're always welcome to give your input on any part of the state. If you do need an interpreter, please request that ahead of time. And you can do that through our office at 916-323-0323. And if you can give us 5 business days of advance notice, we can arrange that for you. You can also email us at interpreter.request. That's interpreter.request@crc.ca.gov. As always, we encourage you to check out our website at wedrawthelineca.org. That's wedrawthelinesca, CA, California, wedrawthelineca.org. There you can sign up for emails and learn more about commission meetings. You can see videos of past commission meetings. And eventually you'll be able to view the input that we're getting at these community of interest input meetings, as well as all the other input that we are getting through other channels. We're also on social media, and you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Our handle is @WeDrawTheLineCA. It's @WeDrawTheLineCA. It looks like we don't have any other callers, or maybe Katie, do you want to read instructions for raised hands one last time?
Absolutely, Chair. Welcome to the public input. Oh, nope, that was not the right instructions. I apologize. In order to maximize transparency and public participation in our process, the commissioners will be taking community of interest input by phone and general public comment for items not on the agenda. To call in, dial the telephone number provided on the live stream feed. It is 877-853-5247. When prompted to enter the meeting ID number provided on the live stream feed, it is 879-1920-3919 for this meeting. When prompted to enter a participant ID, simply press the pound key. Once you have dialed in, you will be placed in a queue. To indicate you wish to comment, please press *9. This will raise your hand for the moderator. When it is your turn to speak, you will hear a message that says the host would like you to talk and to press *6 to speak. If you would like to give your name, please state and spell it for the record. You are not required to provide your name to give public comment. Please make sure to mute your computer or live stream audio to prevent any feedback or distortion during your call. Once you are waiting in the queue, be alert for when it is your turn to speak, and again, please turn down the live stream volume. And Chair, we do not have any callers in the queue at this time.
Thank you, Katie. Okay, one last chance. Anyone want to raise hand? If not, thank you to all our staff today, and especially our several interpreters. Love listening to you guys. And thank you so much for your help. Thank you to Katie, our moderator, and Christian, running all the tech and video in the background. Thank you to our mapping staff and commission staff. And so our next meeting will be tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. With that, our meeting is adjourned.